What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Sal in the building. Just want to see who's still up, man. Late as hell for this show, but let's keep it going. Let's see what's on tap for the markets right now. I don't know if some of you guys are even still trading. Who's watching the markets? And it looks like we're bouncing right now. I'm watching Asia. We're really going to get into it. If I got at least 5 people, if I could get 5 people on here right now, I'll keep going because I know I'm late. I know I'm late as hell. So let me get 5 people in the audience right now. Can I get 5 people in here? Let me see here. How's everything going? Everything going? Let me see. Is my stream okay? Just want to make sure my stream is up. Okay. All right. Let's keep it going then. Shout out to everybody in the chat room right now. I didn't think people would still be up. Okay. Now y'all going hard like me. Okay. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. Let's go ahead and cut off the music. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a while, almost a month, over a month since my last show. And been real busy with some other things, man. I got a lot of things going on in the family. I don't like sharing family drama. So let's just get into it. I'm on the show right now. That's all that matters. Shout out to the guys who are still up right now. I want to talk about what you guys are trading, what I'm trading, and what could possibly be happening in the market right now. I'm watching other guys' videos, and they're not talking about the fact that the most important data that we could probably be expecting in the next, really that's going to project the next 6 months is coming out this week. I don't see anybody else talking about that on YouTube. And that is the fact that we're expecting Q4 GDP numbers this Thursday at 8:30 a.m. A lot of people don't realize how important that is. That is going to set the tone for the next several months because, again, there's no other thing to run on. All right, the China thing, that's pretty much played out now. Everybody's pretty much accepted that. The small caps are basically still running on the fact that we've got the availability of cheap money, right? The Fed came out the other day, as I said in my video I just released on BKLN, the fact that, we're still going to accept practically free money, and it's not working. It's clearly in the chart. It's not working like it used to. Although overnight right now we're bouncing, right? We're bouncing right now overnight. But if we don't crack that 284, 285 level, what does it matter? So again, the expectation is that Thursday we're going to get a solid number. But if that GDP number is weaker than expected for Q4, expect a sell-off. Expect a sell-off. Talzak, yes, I'm taking calls. Y'all know the original number. I still got the ringer on the Skype. Please forgive me. Still got the ringer on the Skype. All right. I emailed them on that. They said, okay, we're not turning it off. They're not turning it off in terms of like the sound. So you already know what the number is, 305-600-2896. Please, if you've got a stock to talk about, be detailed. Don't just tell us it's running because it's running. I mean, we got to have, guys are putting some real money up in terms of their investments. They work hard for this money. So we got to have something tangible, right? That we are asking people to invest in. Okay. And one of the things that a lot of guys are excited about, and I'm excited about, is Pred. I get that. I told a lot of people about Pred last month, and it didn't do anything. It pretty much went sideways, and now we're getting the big move. And sure, I got some money in it. I'm happy. But, man, it gets old after a while to put money in something, and it's running, and you got to explain why, and there's no reason. And that's why it's just, it's kind of getting old. I need something that I can, absorb, some kind of information, some kind of data, explanation, to be in a particular situation. All right, so give me your tickers, guys. Let's talk about it. The marijuana play, CRON. Mr. Cool, what's going on? What's going on, John Rambo? You thinking puts for Thursday? Nah, I don't want to guess. I just want the number to come out, John. Shout out to John Rambo. Shout out to everybody in the chat room right now, man, who's watching. Kyle Phillips, Ilio Pulido, Terrell Jones, Miss Jamieson. What's going on? Shout out to everybody in the building right now. What's going on, Corey Kwan? What's going on with Cron, though, with the CRON? I don't know what's going on there, but below my moving average. But that's a decent candlestick for what you want to see in terms of hopefully it getting back up there. I don't like the fact that you got that upper wick up there. Is that a rejection of the 50 RSI? Is it the beginning of a rejection of the 50 RSI? So we'll see what that looks like over the next couple of days. But obviously, if this was something you've been in for a while, that consolidation and the breakdown shows that you've got, at least momentarily, some building disinterest in the play for now. All right, it's just something you got to be aware of there. All right, because you touched some recent support, you bounced off that today, but obviously that upper wick shows slight rejection up there. All right, at least on the daily. Obviously on the weekly, I'm sure it looks a lot different. ASASNA. Is this the weird multi-level marketing stock? I believe I brought this ticker up 2 years ago or something like that. And it's like a multi-level marketing company or something like that, right? Refresh my memory. What's going on, Bats? Cron earnings before market opening tomorrow, Bats. Okay, thank you. All right, we'll see what they put up. We'll see what they put up. Obviously, you had some people wanting to sell into that information, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. A lot of guys can't handle earnings. You don't know what it's going to be, especially when you can't figure out what direction the ball is going to fall under, right? What's going on, T. Kelly? Kenny Dutton. Somebody talking about PRTY. Let's take a look at PRTY now. PRTY. Gosh, these stocks that are making new lows day in and day out. Gosh, because you see that earnings number had to be really, really bad. Investors running for the exit after that earnings number, right? I mean, it's clearly, as you see there on the chart, you're going to have to, of course, look into that a little bit further to see why, why was it that bad? What happened? Did margins close up? Did we see a decrease in revenue year over year for that quarter? Something happened, which has led to now an interesting candlestick, right? We got a doji, with a bigger body, but it could be the beginning of some consolidation sideways and maybe a move higher. Obviously, if you're looking for the entry, that's the candlestick you want to look for. But again, you've been faked out before, right? You've been faked out before. So just understand and give yourself maybe $1 or $2 of risk to the downside. But if it doesn't go your way quickly, I would definitely look for the exit on PRTY. Decent volume, decent daily volume. I again, don't know what the story is. Party City, I could understand Party City 10 years ago, 20 years ago. But when we talk about now, a lot of those, gigs and gags, you can get those online. You can get those online. So I haven't been in a Party City in a long, long time. A lot of those things too you can find at dollar stores. So there's obviously some, structural and fundamental things that are going on with the business in terms of, just the life cycle of the whole industry changing. But do your research. Do your research right now at PRTY. And somebody said they should be out of business. I fully expect that, obviously. I mean, let's go ahead and real quick before we move into it, because now I'm interested. Let's look at the weekly. And, wow, look at that. We're back to 2016 lows. We've actually broken below that, right? So can you get a dollar or two bounce here? Absolutely. But then we could very well continue to slide lower. Continue to slide lower. This looks like, reminds me of Big Lots. And I've talked about that here on the show too. Those kind of stocks that are just kind of testing new all-time lows. Predominantly retail, right? Macy's, Big Lots. I mean, you see across retail, these stocks that are, basically being the victims to e-commerce. Basically the victims to e-commerce. Let's keep it moving. ZNGA. This Zynga stock. I remember, again, when I first started my stream, another kind of like really boring penny stock that would just not go anywhere. Here it just wouldn't do anything, right? I mean, $1 here, 20 cents here or so. But we weren't getting those kind of incredible moves over the course of a week, 2 week, 3 weeks that we could all hang our hats on and drop 1,000 or two and be like, oh, wow, look at this. Obviously, now something's changed since December. Again, using that 25 moving average, 50 RSI, nice move on that daily chart as it's hugged it very nicely. And riding high now. Interestingly, we got a slight decrease now in the exuberance, but keep looking for that. Obviously, I wouldn't jump in here now. But very interesting chart there on ZNGA. John Rambo with SSFT. Oh, nope, not that one. What's going on? Let's see, what do you guys... Okay, Denzel Bird, we're going to take a look at that. I appreciate you, Silver by the Ounce. SSFT. John Rambo says they signed a definitive agreement to acquire another AI company called Hodify. And they announced a deal with NVIDIA, super low floater. Yeah, that was a nice move there since February. So obviously, again, look into that information. Love to see the volume obviously be, the other way going here, right? But this is where we are, SSFT, OTC stock. Let me see what Denzel Bird is talking about on NK, because NATCO West, this is another, again, one of those really OTC plays that, again, just can't really get anything started. Again, yeah, this is a stock. We've had these conversations about these kind of plays where they're just bottom of the rung garbage, man. It's just hot garbage. Now, obviously something's, going on here over the last couple weeks. This is the weekly chart. Nice play today. But be careful. All right, be careful. All right, as you can see here, there's a lot of real big wicks on this chart on the weekly. So you've got in the past a lot of disappointed traders who bought very high, who ended up with some bags on the weekly. And it appears there on the chart. So be very careful with that, and you do not want to be a bag holder there because there's clearly a lot of history on that chart. Clearly a lot of history on that. All right. Market wide, when you pull up the SPY, you pull up these charts, we had a bit of a dip these last 2 days. But we're bouncing. Again, as I said, after hours, we're bouncing. I did see the Tokyo session, the Nikkei up very nicely right now. Asia is looking really good right now. All right, so I'm expecting a good day tomorrow. I am selling the 285 calls in SPY. Let's see if we can get to the breakout. Let's see if we can get to the breakout. This is going to be very, very interesting to see what happens market-wide over this week. And again, those GDP numbers that we're going to see on Thursday is so critical. 8:30 a.m. Q4 GDP. We're going to see what happens. ACB, Aurora Cannabis. Shout out to the cannabis stocks, man. Shout out to the cannabis stocks for, again, for what, almost 4 years there. They were just kind of in this territory where people were just like, yeah, these are these little weed stocks that are just kind of out there, and nobody really had any kind of respect for them. And now all of a sudden, like, people are taking it really seriously, right? I mean, people really are like, okay, marijuana is here and it's here to stay. It makes money. It's very lucrative for states. All right, we still got some eggheads out there in terms of like, oh, well, you know, they're going to get, people can die and it leads to other drugs and blah, blah, blah. But for the most part, it's crushing through any kind of opposition. Crushing through any kind of opposition. And we're seeing stocks like Aurora Cannabis, like Cron, like, you know, some of the other ones that are now becoming, you know, real, stalwarts for institutional capital now. For institutional capital now. You know, and obviously we still have a lot of work to be done on the federal level to really allow these businesses to really be able to access the big capital they need to, you know, make national investments and possibly even global investments. All right, because marijuana, for the most part, you know, it's very expensive to do in America. But once we get to a point where we delegalize it nationally, then these companies can start saying, okay, where can we move this to where we can grow our margins, right? Where revenue can and I think for the most, I think they're going to end up going overseas for a lot of it. I think it's going to end up being something we import. It's going to end up being something we import because it's going to be something we can do a lot cheaper somewhere else. Now, I don't know when it comes to growing marijuana, how easy that is, right? I don't know if there's like, if marijuana has to be like, I don't know, absorbed like right after it's cut or anything like that. I'm not a weed head like that, so I don't know. But I just figure when it comes to tobacco, that's exactly what we do, right? For a long time, tobacco was grown here. And then after a while, it was like, people were like, shit, we can do this in South America and get better quality, cheaper workers. So I see the same thing happening in marijuana and these cannabis companies becoming a lot more lucrative and therefore more expensive targets, potential acquisition targets for even larger players. Said Latin America blowing up with weed cultivation. Yeah, it's just going to be common sense to go overseas with that. It's just going to be more common sense. You know, the American worker is only getting more expensive. Only getting more expensive. You know, let's keep it going. Elio, big wicks bad? Absolutely. I mean, if we see these long top wicks on top of the candlestick, absolutely, those are bad, particularly on weekly charts. That shows strong rejection of those higher levels. DTEA, David's Tea. Don't know anything about this company. I've seen something about mobile news, though. Something about mobile news. Asana, I believe, is a retail company, sold line of one company for 300 mil souls. Justice and Ann Taylor. Oh, gotcha. Thank you, Elio. Thank you. What's going on, Big Zini? Yeah, I don't know anything about this DTEA. The green organic. Okay. Organic Dutchman. Shout out to these Canadian companies, man. They were, again, the Canadian companies were the ones that were like out front, man. Out front. Look at this. Nice move again. Here's my 25 moving average, sticking on that 50 RSI. That's where you want to be. Looking very, very, very good on T-God. Looking very good. You know, speaking of marijuana, I know we heard CVS say they're going to be selling CBD products. They're going to be selling CBD products. So, and they have already been on Amazon for almost 2 years now. So, this is becoming a thing. This is for real. This is for real. So shout out to those companies that are really now making, you know, the hype turn into real bottom line income growth, revenue growth for their investors. You know, building that shareholder value. They're doing exactly what they need to be doing. Does Oprah need to take over Weight Watchers? No. Remember what's going on with WTW? Weight Watchers is the fact that you got the keto diets. Those keto diets are killing Weight Watchers because people are getting to these ketos. They're getting to this water fasting. You know, so if you're in that, there's nothing really to teach anybody. I mean, it's literally like a 4-page thing. You get it, you do it, you lose weight, right? Water fasting is basically you just don't eat. It's not profitable. In terms of, you can't build a business around water fasting. You can't build a business around the keto diet. Well, I know some people have, ebooks and shit like that, but not to the extent of a multi-billion-dollar empire like Weight Watchers. Look at this. This has been an incredible stock to be short. You know, and I only wish I had a moving average strategy way back when I was trying to figure out, God damn, what should I do? Figuring all kind of gimmicks when I, should have been just sticking with the most common way to trade, which is using a moving average line and sticking to it and having the discipline to stick to it. WTW, look at this. Incredibly powerful, game-changing opportunity here. If you traded this the right way. I mean, look at that. 100. I mean, this thing is down almost 70% since June of last year. Almost 70%. You want to see what an option is? An in-the-money option, guy just basically rolling over every, 30, 40 days. That's an incredible return on something like that. John Rambo, he said the new WTO, you can steal it online and buy your own food. Wow. Hilarious, man. Shout out to Verb. Verb was, what was the name of Verb again? I did a video on it and everything. Like, please do a video on our stock. Please do a video. And it went really well. And then I saw it, last week. I didn't know what happened. I didn't know what happened last week. And hey, when I was talking about the stock, it was doing well. Yeah, Infuse. There we go. Infuse. And when I was talking about the stock, it was doing well. And then something happened last week and it just shitted on itself, dude. The stock just shitted on itself completely. So I don't know what happened there. Obviously, I'm sorry for the investors who were in that stock, from 13 to 7. I mean, a 50% drop. That is pretty bad. I did see this. The CEO said he had some pretty strong Twitter messages towards him that week. Thought about coming live, but I was like, God, you seem like such a hater if I came out on that day and, shitted on it. But hey, when it was infused, it was all right. And I don't mind stocks going to these larger exchanges, but sometimes I just feel like, man, if you're hot and you're on the OTC and you're doing well, stick with where you're winning, man. You know, because when you go to these larger exchanges, you invite the short sellers that, you know, are a part of these hedge funds and these other institutional traders that don't allow their traders to short OTC stocks. So once you get onto these larger exchanges, now you're a target. You already have not the strongest balance sheet, right? You're a new company. You've got relatively low float, and I'm not saying and low in not a good way, meaning that I can, as a large institutional player, I can manipulate your float. So you become a target for these players, man. For the Citron research of the world. Shout out to Andrew, I think Andrew Luck, or something. Andrew, I forgot his name. Andrew something. Citron Research. I think he just came after, what was it, Chegg? The other day, the college book company. Yeah, this is what he did to them. And they bounced off that today. Came out and said they were a fraud and they were teaching people how to cheat on tests and all that crap. You know. Ketogenic dieting, intermittent fasting is the way to go. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's so hard to find healthy food here in this country. You know, it's not like in other countries where they just don't have the system around food where, you know, that farming system where they're putting all kind of poison in their foods. That's why when you go to these South American places, African, Asian, these people are eating meat like every day, but they're healthy as hell because their farming system doesn't have, there's no incentive for them to inject their cows and all their type with all that shit. If you travel to some of these other countries, their food, the meat tastes different. The chicken tastes different. Now you also notice the portion sizes are a lot smaller too. You know, because again, they don't, you know, put all that crap in their food. Those of you guys who've traveled outside the country, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. WEYL. Let's go to Whalen Tech. This is another Iceman stock. For those of you guys who know Iceman, that's the guy who got me into Pred to begin with. What was that, early 2017, late 2017 or so? A guy from the 1970s. This guy's like 74 years old. I think he just got on YouTube. I saw YouTube. Like, he's a YouTuber now. 74 years old. He was a big time OTC pumper in the early 1980s, late 1980s. Ended up running this pump and dump shop and got busted by the FBI, ratted out on all his people, and got a little weak deal. And he's been running this kind of slide hustle OTC thing. And Whalen was one of his big plays for a long time. I don't know what's happened to the stock recently, but I think he's dumped all his shares in that. But shout out to the Iceman. No hard feelings. It didn't really work out. He wanted me to pump Pred hard for a while, and then when it came time to like, okay, like, all right, man, look, I'm doing this for you for Pred. You know, what's up with the money? You know, because me, I'm all about securing the bags if you're going to have me go out there and do this for your stock. And all of a sudden, when we started the conversation about the check, it started, no. Okay, all right, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not going to talk about Pred. And then it is what it is. What happened with the stock? You know. What's going on, Jasmine? You know. Beat it. You know, when it comes to the money. So we had to go in a different direction. But yeah, Pred is running. Pred is running right now, so looking really good for now. Looking really good for now. Let's keep it going. CRL Cresco Labs. Don't know anything about Cresco Labs. Never even heard of this stock before. CRLBF. What's going on, Poker Pro? Outstanding shares for the past 30 days news. Okay. Looking very healthy there. Looks like a new issue. Hasn't been around for a long time. Yeah, Zach, you can always call in, bro. You can call in. Will do, Jasmine. Will do. Yes, indeed. You got my number. Hit me up in the text. Andrew Left. Thank you. That's his name. Andrew Left. I think he's been banned on CNBC or something because they used to have Andrew Left on CNBC all the time, and then a lot of traders started complaining and ratting him out, and then they stopped having him on. Same thing like Peter Schiff. Peter Schiff has been banned on CNBC for the last like 2 years, 3 years. You know, if you're a bear, your CNBC doesn't like you. If you're a bear, CNBC doesn't like you. They like guys who are going to just go in there and say, buy, 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 buy. You know. And there's nothing wrong with that because obviously, I mean, again, they've got advertisers. They got banks that pay their bills too. So they, you know, they're co-opted by the money. Wayfair is extremely low float. Extremely low float Wayfair. Shout out to David Lincoln. I've gone on his show a couple times and interviewed him. He got squeezed to death in Wayfair. You know, and I say that with all due respect, David. You know I love you. But he tried to hang on in Wayfair. He had like a 2-week option. Just ran out of time, man. Just ran out of time. Obviously, as you can see here, it gave out eventually, but just ran out of time. I think he had like the 158 or something like that. 158 put, and he hit me up. And you can look it up on the Twitter, on our Twitter feed at got Penny Stocks. And he's like, man, this stock can't go up forever, can it? And I'm like, man, I'm hoping it could break down and go your way. And it just wouldn't break down, man. And that's what fucking sucks about options. I mean, sometimes, you're just, you start hanging up there. And a move like this, these sideways moves, they're just killer on your premium, man. If you're an option trader, this is just a nightmare on your premium, going that sideways. That sideways action, you got to in the money, an in the money put or out the money put. I mean, it's just a murder on your position. Murder. Especially if you've got, less than 30 days on that option. Less than 30 days on that, you're just getting killed. Elio, you said you need a swing for tomorrow. Well, if this was last week, I would have told you Pred, P-R-E-D. If it was last week, I would have told you that that's the move. I wouldn't get in now. I mean, I love you. I wouldn't get in now. I am in agreement with you, Ken. Shout out to Ken. He's in the chat room right now. I do agree with you, and I saw your post where you talked about Pred going to 4. I agree with that. I think Pred will go to 4. Just because I know what's happening on the back end. All right. I know what's happening on the back end. And I just wish, you guys would put out some news, Ken. And Ken, I know who you know. And you know who I know to put some news out so we can justify the moves. All right. In Pred. Because right now, I mean, there's been no news on the stock since March 19th, yet the stock is up, nearly, over 100% since that time. Over 100% since that time. Shout out to my sponsors, Black Box Stocks, Equity Feed. Might have to pull up Equity Feed. You're saying, oh, okay. So maybe it's just not pulling up in my trading view. Okay. Yeah, we're up after hours as well. Yeah, next time I'm definitely going to come in a little bit early. I know I'm surprising some of you guys real late as hell right now. But 305-600-2896. Again, forgive me, my tall Zach, my little, I've had guys told me I should go to the blog talk dialer because it is quiet. So I know it's going to have the dialer on there. And you're going to hear that if tall Zach calls in. Somebody give me another ticker while I pull up my equity feed and see what, because somebody says they need a stock to swing. They need a stock to swing. Somebody give us a penny stock to swing if you've got one. Somebody give me a nice little 2-week play for stocks with a healthy chart or an oversold chart we can swing with very little downside risk. CMGO. Okay, yeah, obviously missed opportunity there. 2-cent stock. Yeah, we're okay. Yeah, we're a little above. I mean, even if we were like smack dab on the 10 moving average, I would probably even take that, but we're even spread out above the 10. So let that come down a little bit to me. CMGO. Interesting though. Love that. Love these moves in these penny stocks when we're talking about like, 004 to 2. You can make a shitload of money like that, man. You can make a shitload of a lot of money in a move like that. APPS, man, apps. We were on top of apps like 2 years ago. I used to talk about apps like 2 years ago. Frustrated the shit out of a lot of us because we knew the potential at that time. But, not sure what happened today. I don't follow the stock any longer. It's been a long time since I've been on apps, but as you can see here, below the 25 moving average. Obviously, if you want to play the bounce, this is maybe your entry, right? Give yourself a bit of, $1 or $2, or maybe not even, I wouldn't say $1, maybe like 20 cents below this. But as your exit, but this is probably where you want to get in if the trend was for real, if whatever was going on here was for real. This is your entry on APPS. Let's take a look at these people's tickers here. Shout out to the guys putting tickers in the chat room. BPMX. All right, not the prettiest chart in the world. Who brought that up, Poker Pro? You don't have to let me know what was up with that. AREX, let's take a look. Oh, nice. Earnings loser. Oversold. Off the floor. Sub. Yeah, this is where you really want to be in that. Yeah, that's a nice play. That's a nice play, silver by the ounce. That oversold sub 20 RSI. I love those. Sub 13 is even better, but sub 20 is nice. Very, very nice. Like that little bottom wick over there. Especially particularly these stocks here, because even a nickel move to your entry, it's a nice return at 40 cents. You get in there, and I see you got some guys who got it even cheaper at 39. But yeah, a nickel move to the upside, a dime. I mean, that's a very nice return on an oversold play like this. That's a nice chart. That's a nice chart. Tops. Top ships. Man, these used to be the shit to trade. It's crazy how time flies, man. These used to tops, dries. God, we go 2-3 weeks talking about the same like 4 tickers. Tops, dries, DCIX. I mean, those were the plays, man. $1,500, $2,500, $3,000. You coming back with, a stack or 2 every 3 days on some of those things. All right, let's take a look at some of your other charts you guys talk about. PLUG, Plug Power. PLUG. Boy, this stock has been around for a long, long time. Oh, Tall Zach, 305, 600, 2896. G-Debt. What's going on, John Sanders? Plug Power, looking good. Plug Power actually showing a bit of hesitation up there. We're looking just looking for some support on Plug Power. What else are we looking at? VRUS. VRUS leaving us in the dust there. Again, that's that power of the OTC, man. Here's that OTC power for you. Boom. Who's running this promo on VRUS? He's a very wealthy man right now. 002 stock now trading at a penny. I'm gonna tell you right now that's because I'm curious of this return. Uh-oh. God damn. Did I answer that? Hold on, 832. 1 second, 832. I see you calling me. Let me see. I'm going to try to call you. God, this Skype app is just garbage, dude. Hot shit. Skype was so fine. And it just became a really shitty app. Hello, 832, you're on the line.
Hey, what's going on, Sal? This is Zach.
Hey, Zach, what's going on with you, man?
Not much, man. I wanted to get you to look at a stock, BAS, Basic Energy Services.
Okay. Yes, BAS. Now, this stock has been, I know it's reverse split a couple times. The float must be real tight right now. What do you like about it here?
I remember you said you wanted like some news and I guess like some good signs.
Yes.
But last week, let's see, I'm looking at it too. Last week I caught it around about $3.98, and I was watching it. It really started fluctuating. I got in around about $4 and maybe 40 cents, and then it went up to about $5. I did make a little bit of money, but I just wanted to kind of get your opinion on it. It looks like it's like this week. It looked like it's been pretty much going down. But I kind of want to get your opinion on because I see you kind of more knowledgeable like with the signs of what it may do in the next few days.
Yeah, I appreciate your call, Zach, man. I mean, right now, where are you?
Looking bad.
Yeah, it's not looking so hot right now. Where are you in on this stock? Just curious. Or you can just give me a range if you don't want to give me the exact number. Price.
I'm in at 460. So
okay.
Like the first week, like 2 weeks ago, I caught it at I want to say it was like $4.30, and then I sold around about $5 because it went up to about $5.12, and I sold around about $5, and I made about maybe $60 to $70, and right now it's I'm actually losing a little money, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and jump out. I think that run was kind of over with. It, like I said, it went up from like when I first saw it, it was like $3.98, $4, something like that around last week. I'm not sure if you can.
Yeah, I'm looking. Yep, looking right at it.
Yeah. So then a few days it went up to about $5, and that's when I sold out. But then I bought in again, trying to, I guess ride the wave. But it started going, for a downturn. And I'm not that much of an advanced trader, so anybody that's looking at this, man, it's I would say it is a risk. Do your own research or whatever. But I just want to call in and kind of get your opinion on it. Like, I'm looking at it like, man, it's pretty much over. But like I was saying, like, it was going up and down, up and down. So yeah, I just wanted to call in.
Not a problem. I appreciate the call, Zach. We're going to talk about it right now.
Okay. All right. Thanks, man.
Yes, indeed. So I appreciate his call. When we look at BAS, I think he knows what to do. He knows what to do, and it's time to sell on Zach, on BAS, Zach. And I'm right there with you, bro. You're in at 460. We're at 430 right now. I didn't ask how big your position is. If you can afford to wait, can you hold for 415? If not, then I'm out. If not, then I'm out. If you can't hold for 415 and that's just out of line for you, I'd probably be out here. The entry back in wasn't a very good entry to begin with. When you jumped back in, you were kind of at the height there of the Keltner channel, jumping back in after you had sold for a profit. Wasn't the best entry, and obviously it sold off since then. And you didn't have, of course, the best day today. So I would see what happens tomorrow. But again, if we're red and we can't hold 415, I think I've got to be out. I got to be out. But we gotta. That entry wasn't the best entry after a run like that. As you can see here, this is a stock that has a hard time. I mean, even at RSI levels like the 50s, as you can see, it just doesn't have a very good track record of being at those RSI levels. So not a great place to be for an expectation for a continuation of the run. I mean, based on the chart, that looks like where it tops out historically at that 55, 60. I think we got to go all the way back to January to see just even 60 RSI on the chart. So we struggle at those levels. Right? And then, of course, we also have to, see what's going on with crude prices, right? Because those have been pretty sensitive. Obviously, I mean, crude, look at this. Crude is actually going up, and BAS is going the other way. So, obviously, now we've got to look at the fundamentals, and those could probably be shit, and that's probably our shit because of where that ticker is trading in it anyway. So, there's some other factors going on there in BAS that don't make it a very great stock to trade. But again, it's just clear that the entry just wasn't the best. It just wasn't the best entry. What's going on, Jeff? ADMA. ADMA. Who brought up ADMA, Jeff? What's going on, man? What's up, Bats? You're long U.S. dollar, short energy and metals. Dollar Will, what's up? The 13 spatula. What's the case for long in the dollar? I mean, I've been hearing a lot about that. What's the case for long in the dollar? ADMA, not the prettiest chart in the world, but I like today's candlestick anyway. But you're gonna have to do your research on the ticker. Don't know much about it. EVOK, nice play, but we missed our opportunity back here. Very interesting candlesticks going there, showing the consolidation. As you can see here, buyers of the early consolidation were graciously treated to a nice spike in price from those low RSI levels. Clearly they sold, but you still had people pick up the pieces here. But, not where I would probably want to be now as an entry, but still, EVOK, nice from the bottoms there. HMNY, people actually still look at HMNY. Elio, there's no percentage. I mean, I don't go in with like, oh, I want 20% on this as my return. I've just stuck to, as long as it's above the 25 moving average on the time frame that I'm trading in, and we stay above that, right? We stay above that, and preferably above the 10 moving average as well. And if we fall below the 10 moving average, then I want to be out the trade. All right. And I got a really great video on my trading strategy called The Only Trading Strategy You'll Ever Need. Again, I'm being biased when I use that title. Basically, I'm just saying a moving average strategy is the only trading strategy you need. But of course, you also want to know what's going on in the macro environment as well. CFMS conforms. God damn, what's going on here? Nice move from the lows there. Obviously, something's going on here. CFMS, nice chart. You're getting us in kind of high, though. Nice play. You're getting us in real high again. Above the 25 moving average, above the 50 RSI. Love these charts. This is the kind of place you want to look for. This is where you really want to look for. And again, FinViz has an awesome, or if you have Equity Feed, you can already set a scanner for stocks that are, going above the 50 RSI, or stocks that are going above the 25 moving average on the daily chart or a yearly chart, or a weekly chart. You can set up an alert for those kind of things. FinViz does a pretty good job of that as well. Nice play on this stock. Look at that. Very healthy. Very healthy. Right? Above 25, above the 10. You're hugging. All right. Probably the sell here. Nice bounce off the 25. Back above. And look at that rocket. Look at that rocket. Nice. We're not where I would want to be in terms of an entry, though. Now we're way up there. We're way up there now. Actually, probably a good place for a short in CFMS. Moving HMNY. All right. Hey, Bats, where are you in on SPY now? Bats, if you're still in here watching. HMNY, I know they're making some changes. They're coming back out with the unlimited movie pass. You guys remember Movie Pass? They basically bought the business and destroyed it with horrible executive decision making. The company Movie Pass was profitable when they acquired it. They came out with an unlimited version that allowed you to basically go to the movies as much as you wanted on a daily basis. And it basically destroyed the product. It basically destroyed the product. Bats, are you there? All right, hold on. Let me. If you guys want to call me, just put your number and I'll call you. Because if for whatever reason, when I pick up, it's like doing some weird ass like delay and shit. There we go. 919 Bats, what's up, man?
Hey, Sal. Long time. How are you, sir?
Good. Same here. How are you doing?
Yeah, not bad. Still doing my SPY and IWM and doing pretty well with that. Like you, in the long term, I'm looking at the Heikenhashi candles.
Yes.
To cut the noise out.
Absolutely.
And yeah, it's been working pretty well for me. Most of the times I day trade or swing trade the SPY and IWM, but I day trade them, sorry, and then sometimes I'll swing them, but I think for swing traders particularly, it's nice to look at the daily and the weekly charts. I'm using Heiken-Ashi. So on the SPY right now, I would say looks like, in the short term, we're having sell-off, but it looks like the SPY might be rebounding tomorrow. The key is now, because on the Heiken-Ashi, what you...
Hey, Bats, it sounds like you're going in and out. I don't know if you're moving away from your phone.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, there we go. Much better.
Okay, so it looks like on the Heiken-Ashi, you have a big sell-off. So what you're looking for on the Heiken-Ashi, you're trying to look for, especially in a sell-off, you don't want to see an upper wick. So you want to see a blunt, top of the body of the candle and a big sell-off. But it looks like, just looking at post-market, that the SPY may have a little bit of a bounce. What I don't know is what that bounce is attributed to, whether it could be a no collusion, the Trump no collusion bounce. But like you said, we should keep an eye on those GDP values coming up soon. Absolutely. But it looks like there might be a short-term bounce. I can't say there'll be a sell-off, because I think really the sell-off has been just over the last couple of days.
Right.
So, you just trade the chart. If you're day trading, look at your various technicals and price action. But I do think that if you're swing trading, look at the daily and the weekly charts and just try and get your entries off of that. The last thing I wanted to share was, like, for options, what I look for, I know someone wanted the swing trade on maybe equities, but the one I did look at right now is FCX. So that's a copper company actually based out here in Phoenix. That's Freeport-McMoRan. So that's a copper mining company. What I've found where I've traded options successfully is you want to be able to get a low enough premium but not too low. You want a sweet spot between, say, a stock that's around $10 to about $30. Sometimes you can go as high as about $50 for the stock. But what that gives you is you find a stock that has the liquidity and is somewhere between $10 and $30. That way the premium comes in really cheap. So if you look at FCX, the one I posted, the copper company, you'll see that right now it has an open interest of about 171, 173, which is pretty low. But the new position, the volume for today was 1,000. The RSI is still at about 48, around there. So what you're looking for is a break above RSI 50. I found RSI 50 is very good, and I know you use RSI 50 as well.
Absolutely.
For your position. So something like FCX, it's a $12.50 stock right now. And if you get the 114 November 15 call, you're only going to pay just over $1 for that and have 7-8 months of expiration on that. So I found that works particularly, like I said, with stocks priced between $10 and $30 from my research. And then you just look for liquidity and you look for big, places of support. So right now it looks like it's bouncing off the 50 simple moving average on the daily chart. And I mean, all you need to go for here is the last recent high it went to. If you can get $14 for it to move from 12.38 where it's at now to about $14 in the next month or two, you'll actually come out good in terms of returns on that. So those are the criteria I look at. I look at new volume with a lower open interest. So that shows that if the volume is really high, you've got new interest in that position and people taking that position, and also the price of that equity. It means you can hold, like, I made 60% on USO in less than a week, and I chose like the December, something like the November or December expiration. So those are good things to look at when you're looking at swinging options. Of course, I don't really swing or trade equities anymore because I'm getting more success from options. But that's a little nugget that I just wanted to share with everything. And then last but not least, with the good liquidity, you'll notice on the option spread, the bid-ask spread, it's really tight. What you want is a really tight bid-ask spread, just like the SPY or IWM, where you're not looking at anything more than about 5 cents difference. Ideally, a 1 or 2 cent difference between the bid and the ask is ideal. And then with the price somewhere between $10 and $30. And that's all I have for you.
Thank you so much, Bats. As always, man, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, bro.
Thank you, Sal. Keep up the good work.
Will do. Thank you. Shout out to Bat Scientist. And one thing I can tell you, that man is incredibly bright, and you need to be following him on Twitter, at Bat Scientist. His name is exactly what is found on Twitter. You should be following him. Oh, Bats, I forgot to ask you, are you still doing that group, the Discord group? Are you still managing that on a daily basis? Let me also tell you about what he just said. Because if you start doing exactly what he talked about, you will never go back to penny stocks. You won't go back to penny stocks if you start doing what he just said. Buying options on stocks between 10 and 50. Why? Because you will realize that the same amount of money that you're putting into some of these penny stocks, you can put in some of these options and generate a daily return, depending, of course, of what happens on your money, right? Instead of, kind of this kind of week to week type of thing. So not, again, it's apples and oranges, but using what Bat says, all of a sudden now you can be a day trader. You can really be a day trader. Whereas in penny stocks, you're going to get burned if you're a day trader in that. You really got to, it goes back to what kind of that American investor type thing. You got to invest into, what's happening into those levels. But what Bats is talking about is, you're going to not come back to penny stocks if you do that. You're just not. You're going to do trades like USO, like what he talked about, FCX. He didn't even talk about GDX. GDX is another one where you can do that. Very liquid, right? It's another way to play commodities. It's $23 stock, very liquid options. There are tons of these kind of plays out there for you to take advantage of. With $500, $1,000, $1,500, sometimes $200 positions that have, 90 days on them. He just told you about, what is that, Bats? You said like a 7-month position with like $100. That's stupid long. That at that price, you basically have no risk to premium. As long as the stock is going in your direction. But even if it's not going in your direction, it's very, very little risk to you in the short term. Yeah, right. And then, of course, you want to make sure they're only very, very liquid. And that's, it goes by to making sure that they have those tight spreads. That's the quickest way to identify you're trading a liquid stock is the fact that those options are very, very tight on the spreads. He's saying up to 5 cents, as he was absolutely right. Preferably above 5 cents, it's a waste. You got some of those that are like a dime, 30 cents apart. Oh my God, those are horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. And if they don't go your way, boy, that 30 cents could become $1 real quick. So 2 cent, 3 cent is primarily where you want to be. Bank of America was like that. Bank of America is another one. That just popped up in my head. Bank of America, incredibly liquid on a daily basis. Very profitable. All right. That's another one of those kind of trades you can go in and out of. Now, Bank of America, you got to, of course, understand what's going on. Again, when we talk about, I say that a lot, the macroeconomic picture. So when we talk about the GDP numbers coming out on Thursday, when we talk about Powell coming out the other day and saying that he was dovish and he wasn't going to raise interest rates. Also, when other economic manufacturing numbers come out, unemployment numbers being adjusted, all those can affect stocks like Bank of America. So there are a ton of plays like that available to you out there that could really make someone start to say, okay, do I want to be into penny stocks or not? And that's why I've had a really hard time. If you've noticed my transition as a trader, it's been like, oh, I don't know. But don't get me wrong. If I find a great opportunity, like a pred, like what Rambo is talking about, SSFT, he's talked about that here on the show. Like some of the other MJ plays that we've talked about here, when we've had really crappy stocks run like a Rocky Mountain High Brands and all these other, those are incredible. They still are opportunities for you to make some money. All right. And again, it's not about the big bang. It's about hitting those singles over and over and over and over and over again over a consistent period of time. All right. I've been on YouTube talking about this. I've been now 3 years on my show. This is a 50-year, experiment for me. This is not, not looking for one big thing and then, okay, bye. This doesn't work that way. Absolutely, Malik Green. It's consistency. And what's gotten me consistent is what he talked about is a 50 RSI strategy and a moving average strategy. And that's what's gotten me consistent so far. And I plan on sticking with it. SNES, damn. Every time I see SNES, I'm always thinking of Super Nintendo. Every time I see SNES, Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Every time I see that, that's what I'm thinking. I don't think the name, so it's just crazy when people bring up that ticker. It's a Nestec, up 10.5% today. Again, this is the congrats to the people who are already in the play. I mean, you've been already in it. You're just, at this point, it's just loading up the register day in and day out on this play. I can go back to the regular candles. I'm going to put out a video on the ashy candles, Hank and Ashy candles, and why I say those are really good place. And again, just maturing, right, as a trader, how those candlesticks just kind of really cut the bullshit. They really cut the bullshit because it's just so easy to see a breakdown, because really the only candlestick you're concerned about is a doji when you're looking at those type of candlesticks. And I'm going to make a video about Hank and Ashy, and then of course in the description I'll give you a video, a link to a video that does it gives you even further in-depth information about how to use those candlesticks effectively. Obviously, you can get some books. I've given, I think, Trader's Library. Sometimes I don't know if the guy's been having some issues with his server. Okay, he's up now. But let me see. Is he? Yeah, Trader's Library is still up, and I'm gonna put the link in the. But I think, yeah, Amazon's got even some really, really good books on it as well. Because sometimes, the best information on trading sometimes is still in a book. Because again, a YouTube video is somebody who's maybe thought about it for an hour or two or a day or two. But somebody who puts it in a book, they've probably been thinking about that for a long period of time. So the information is just so much more thorough. So if you can get a book on Hank and Ashy, that's always going to be best. But I'm going to link to a video that a young woman made that's really, really good on that I have in my favorites. All right. Yeah, of course, Money Green, of course. That's true too. That's true too, because sometimes, you know, it can be, yeah, there's risk involved in that as well. There's risk involved in using those charts as well. But when we talk about identifying oversold, identifying overbought, or identifying breakdown, I don't, you know, outside of, I don't know what other candle system does a better job of identifying that. I mean, you know, outside of these regular, but, you know, for example, consolidation is very easy to read on those kind of candlesticks as well. So, you know, we'll get into all that. We'll get into all that. All right. Let me see here. Somebody brought up Party City the other day, and that really was interesting because I had been looking at XRT, the largest retail-based fund, and again, this is another one of those plays that Bats is talking about, that 10 to 50 area, very liquid. XRT also, I think XLF is in there as well. I haven't taken a look at XLF in a minute. Yeah, XLF is in there as well, very liquid. XLF, BAC are almost the same kind of thing. But XLF gives you a more, obviously it's the sector-wide, because you got inside XLF, you've got Bank of America, you got Citigroup, you got JP Morgan, you've got all those inside XLF, and that gives you a great opportunity to play the financials. Great opportunity to play the financials. You've grown your SPY account 150% in 12 trades, averaging 12.5% per trade. God damn, Bats, that's a really great return. What's going on, Moyo Sauce? Yeah, Money Green. And I got that Ashy from a Forex trader. You guys know I've always thought Forex was bullshit, you know, for the most part, because so many people lose at Forex. But I had caught my eye on a Forex guy. And, of course, you know, he's selling the bullshit lifestyle. And underneath it's like, yeah, go to my weird, like, you know, third world brokerage that's, you know, anyway. He was using that chart, and I was like, God damn, that chart had showed that breakdown pretty well. And so I applied it to some of the other tickers I had been looking at. I was like, oh, okay. Wow, it caught that breakdown perfectly. You said you're a Forex trader. Look, some of you guys are really good, right? Some of you guys are like, okay, damn, he's generating returns. But then so many people lose at that, man. So many people lose at that. You know. And the Forex game is so gimmicky in terms of the space on YouTube. You know, there are very few very serious, like, I don't want to sell you anything type players. Like, and it's cool if it just be like me, you know, you gotta, you know, but when you're shoving it down my throat, like, you need to be with my brokerage, that's kind of like, man, come on. GXXM, don't know anything about this stock. As you can see here, man, it's really beat up. I can zoom into it here. Sideways move here, GXXM, 0024 stock. You're going to have to get a clearer picture on what's going on here. Obviously, this is your entry, right? This is where you want to be at right here. I mean, obviously, as you can see here, real beat up here. But this is probably where you want to get in at if this is the real deal here on GXXM. Dollar Will said it helps you understand the macro. Yeah, it is a good place to identify that. It's a good place to identify that. And when I've always said here, if I was going to play Forex, it'd only be US dollar and some third world country, because you know where that's going. You know. most third world countries allocate all their debt or price all their debt in dollars. And I saw you mentioned earlier that if you're going to be long dollar, then that means, that's an easy way to go. And if we go into a recession, that's an easy way to go against those third world countries. So U.S. dollar, South Africa, or ZAR, or U.S. dollar, some other third world country. Those are probably way to go. But I know there's also liquidity concerns when you do that as well. Yeah, Forex people, a lot of Forex traders on YouTube are full of shit. HCTY. Yeah, they disappear on people. I mean, they put people in all kind of scams and brokers that won't give you your money back. It reminds you a lot of what Bitcoin was a couple months ago. I just posted on my Twitter page this Instagram channel, Bitcoin Angie. Go to my Twitter page right now, Bitcoin Angie. That's her name on Instagram, or her name, and she's promising people to make $48,000 a week to join her brokerage. And if you look at her brokerage, it's some like third world like brokerage out in like Belize. I mean, would you send your money to Belize? Belize, some third world Belize, and Belize is a third world country. I don't care what anybody said. Belize is a third world country. Beautiful country. Beautiful country. Never been there myself. Seen pictures. Beautiful country, but poor. And on what I think is a developed country, it would be considered let me just say the proper term for it. Developing nation. It's a developing nation. I mean, they don't use the word third world is considered very insulting now. It's a developing nation. All right. So let me get some more stocks from you guys, man. Let me get some more tickers from you guys. MU is another one of those plays. MU, but again, we're probably going to get a bounce. Be careful. MU too that's a mover, boy. MU could move. MU is a big time mover. AMD is another one too. AMD, off the top of my head, AMD is another one of those low cost stocks. Again, those options are dirt cheap. You can really load up. Appreciate you, Elio, for being here, man. Do you see the appeal of owning airline stocks? Nah. I missed shorting Boeing though. I missed shorting Boeing. And, obviously, man, I mean that's such a disgusting thing to do, right? I mean, to plane crash and then go run and short Boeing. But shit, man, to see that sell off that happened in Boeing. Boy, what an opportunity, right? I mean, boy, what an opportunity after that situation happened. But, obviously that would have been a very disgusting thing on my part to do. And horrible situation. I mean, again, now news is coming out that they rushed the plane out and they were trying to compete against Airbus, and they possibly knew that the plane was faulty, and oh my God, this could end up being very, very ugly for Boeing. This could end up being very, very ugly for them. And what's the situation in Boeing had been hurting the market overall. United Continental Airlines, yeah. By the way, the reason why they're going down is the fact that they had to suspend this is like almost 50 flights a day, right? Almost 50 flights a day because of these 787 Maxes planes that they have. And I'll be the first one to tell you that I had people in my family who were taking some flights. I was looking up the plane. I was like, God damn, if you're on one of those, those Maxes, we're canceling that flight. I don't give a damn what they say. If you got to pay the $200, whatever, just, Because I wouldn't trust that plane. Not me. I don't care how many successful flights out of crashes you have. Just the fact that I know you're a model with issues, I'm not riding that shit. I'm not riding that shit. United Airlines. Yeah, look at that, boy. This is looking real ugly. Testing some new lows here, at least on the daily chart. Let's move that up a little bit. So very interesting here. So you can go, look, you can go in on see what happens going long here, right? You can probably long this here. Obviously, if you're short, you're going to continue to ride it down. Oh, boy, look at that 25.10. Oh, so beautiful. Look at that. You can't get any prettier than that, man. You know what I'm saying? That 50 RSI 25 moving amp. Oh, so pretty. So pretty. So pretty. Look at that, man. That's, what an entry. What an entry. Somebody said, yeah, I mean, that'd probably be dangerous to continue to short there. I probably wouldn't jump in on the short there. This is actually a great opportunity to go long on this. Again, just looking for $1 or $2 or more on a bounce. Could it very well go sideways? Yeah, but I mean, you probably see a sideways and then something like that. But to short here would be pretty risky. John Sanders, what's that statement about being greedy when others are fearful? Yeah, but Warren Buffett wasn't talking about, buying or shorting under. That's a very Gordon Gekko-ish thing to do, right? I don't think Warren Buffett would do something like that. I don't think Warren Buffett would do something like that. Speaking of Warren Buffett, I know he's still a loser in that Apple trade, but what a bounce from the January lows that Apple's been doing. They went out there today and put out a really crappy presentation on some of their new Apple TV Plus. I mean, it's a lot of streamers out there right now, so a lot of competition in that. Hopefully that continues to do well, but even Apple's is one to watch at these levels because obviously they're having some issues there with their iPhone sales. There's some other things going on there with Apple where people are starting to kind of look at the company sideways. But the problem is that you still got to be a believer in the fact that they do have a superior product when we talk about iPhone. Android is up there, right? Android is up there. 5 years ago, iPhone all the way, but Android now is up there in terms of stability, usability, especially if you've got maybe one of those Google phones where it's a very lightweight, not heavy on the float. They're really catching up, but internationally, if you go to some of these other countries where you own an Apple, you own an iPhone, you're considered like a wealthy person. When I was in Africa last summer, I took my iPhone there, and at the time I had a 7S, or 7 Plus rather, and people, it's like a status symbol. Your phone is a status, and I told people here, I sold my phone in Africa because I was like, you want to give me $800 for this? This thing that's like, damn near 2 years old almost now? Take it. Take it. But in these third world, developing nations, these developing nations, having an iPhone is a status symbol. So it's holding them up, man. People are stealing them. People doing all kind of shit to, calling people, pretending to, try to get them to give them their, in order to, it's all kind of really crazy shit going on. They're selling fake iPhones, right? Lake Victoria Mining, OTC stock LVCA, up 63% today. OTC stock LVCA, don't know anything about it going on here. CVS, Let's take a look at CVS. Yeah, just again, man, retail is just not doing right, man. Retail is just not doing right. I'm still, I have a trade that went against me today, Macy's, but I've been long Macy's for months now, right? Because I've been long Macy's for months. This is the dummy paper trade that I did in Macy's. This is where I went in with my real cap. I'm still long Macy's. I've got a 2020 put in Macy's. And it could very well go up, it could go down, but I'm not going because I understand, how I missed an opportunity in a company we all know here, Sears. And I'm not going to miss an opportunity like that in Macy's if that happens to that company. Missed an incredible opportunity to short Sears. Sears went from like 50 all the way to OTCs. Straight down. I mean, if you look up the chart, and I'll pull it up in here, SHLDQ, I think it is now. Missed opportunity. In hindsight is always 2020, but again, when you have a moving average, you've got hindsight that's documented. Like you can actually see the hindsight. It's hard to explain. CVSI, nice breakout, or attempting breakout here. That's happening here. CVSI, this is another OTC MJ play, research-based MJ play. Last time I looked at their financials, it wasn't so pretty, but obviously, this was, I'm talking almost 2 years ago now since I looked at CVSI. The situation may be different here. But CVSI looking real good as it attempts to break out of some yearly resistance on the chart. Not bad. How cheap are stock prices during market crashes? Dirt cheap. Dirt cheap. Go look at what happened to Amazon in the 2000s. I don't want to go that far back, but if you pull up Amazon, right, when it came out of the dot-com crash, or going into the dot-com crash, it was 100 plus. Coming out of the dot-com crash, I think it went down to 17. Can you imagine? Amazon, getting Amazon at 17 or something. Yeah, 50 or yeah, and that's 2008 Desert Edge. But if you go back to the early 2000s, they were even lower than that. Out of the dot-com crash. 2008 was an incredible year. 2007, 2008, they were an incredible year to get some really interesting companies. Dirt cheap. Dirt cheap. So we'll could that be again? My thing is, the next one, people are saying that stimulus wouldn't work as good as it did on the first one. And obviously, the first bailout was, now looking back, we see was $24 trillion, right? $24 trillion to bail out what ended up being really just 4 banks: JP Morgan, Citigroup, and a couple, the other 2 I can't remember. But you can watch it. There's a great movie on that, on the bailouts. But it ended up being over $24 trillion. If it happens again, do we have that kind of result? Do we have that? I don't doubt we have the resolve, but can we print out double that, maybe triple that, right? Because there are people saying that we're in a bigger hole now than we are, than we were then. Do we have $75 trillion to print to do what we did in 2008 again? That's a very interesting question for us to answer. All right, I'm going to get out of here in a minute. Some private guys are probably like, how long are you going to go? I'm going to get out of here in a bit. OOIL, OTC gas play. Oil and gas play. Reminds me a lot of that Black Stallion oil and gas. God, oh, damn, this is, God, there's so much paper out there. Okay. But speaking of stocks that when I first got into trading options that got burned in because the volume was pretty low on the options, CRC. It just popped up in my head. CRC was one of those plays. And I think it was going back around here. Again, I didn't have a moving average strategy at the time. I was playing, I definitely didn't play the run up. It was like down here somewhere because I lost money in the trade. Tried to go long, and then it started going against me. And when I sold, I think the difference was like 25 cents on the option. I was like, good God, what the fuck happened? And then I didn't understand the difference in terms of spreads. When the spread is wide when you go in and it goes against you trying to come out, that spread, I swear it gets 3 times bigger because nobody wants your trade. That's when they just hammer your ass because the bid is like, fuck it. You bought it for 20. Guess what? I only want to pay you 10 for it. You know what? Fuck it. I only want to pay you 5. I only want to pay you 5 or 8 or 9. And you're like, God damn, I just bought this thing for 20. Like 2 days. What are you talking about? Yeah, no, you have a buyer at 9. And your order will just sit there. It will just sit there. It will not get filled until you hit somebody up at 9. And that's how that works when you have a situation where you don't have volume on your option. As a new investor, should I fear or look forward to a market crash? Oh, you should be excited about the idea of a market crash. That's an opportunity for you to get some of the best companies in America for a discount. Market crash. I can't wait till a market crash. I'm 32 years old now. Going into my 40s and 50s, I want to be able to have a nest egg. And to be able to do that, it's important for me to put my money at work in an opportunity where I can get a discount at some of these great companies. Because right now prices are getting more and more expensive. Look at the price of Amazon. Great company. But it's expensive. It's expensive. So the companies of tomorrow getting that at a discount, you'd love that. Now, if you're already wealthy, if you're already, like I say a lot on my show, you're already $1 million liquid or more, all right? 10 million liquid or more, 50 million liquid or more. 9 times out of 10, your wealth is predominantly already in investments at current prices. So you are intensely terrified about the idea of a recession or a market crash, right? You're terrified about that, all right? But recessions, market crashes, they're very, very good for young people. They're very good for middle-aged people. Obviously, with someone who's close to retirement or something like that, is probably not the best thing to do. But then again, that it also determines that's also could be on how you structured your investments too. I mean, if you were in stocks that paid really good dividends or dividend-based plays or high yield bonds or those kind of safe plays, even that probably doesn't bother you that much. But and again, that's a whole different conversation. But yes, market crashes are good. Market crashes are very, very good. Crashes once in a lifetime, yeah, obviously. And everybody so far, the last 200 years, every generation has gotten a crash. Every American generation has gotten one. Every American generation has gotten one. So now it's important that millennials, hopefully we get one. We need to get one. I don't consider 2013 what happened in 2008 one because I wasn't at the time I was in the Navy, so definitely wasn't paying attention to what was going on with the stock market. So hopefully we get another one. Yeah. What's going on, Jeff? Yeah, real estate is not going away. Yeah, I don't invest in real estate. I only had one real estate deal, which is the house I'm living in now. Again, I did a show on real estate, and it's on the thing where we had some guys call in, and I stayed in contact with one guy, and he showed me how to buy houses, basically without cash or credit. And so this house I'm living in now was structured as that deal, where basically I assumed his loan with a option to buy at a certain price. So basically he was facing foreclosure. He was in a pre-foreclosure position, and I approached him and I said, okay, you move out, I'll take your house in the current condition it was in. We'll structure a deal, and that's basically it. I used, I got the house for less than $6,000. He moved out. I painted it. I got ownership of it, and well, not ownership. He still has the deed, but we got it locked down to where, if I want to make adjustments and all that stuff, and then I got at an option to buy that's like $30,000 below what it's worth, and if I really wanted to fuck him over, I could walk away from it. But no, I like the place so far. So, but you can do that. You can do that. I had no idea you can do stuff like that. You can buy properties without going to a bank, And when we were looking, there were literally hundreds of properties of people who are in pre-foreclosure, right? Their credit is about to get really fucked over, right? When they go into foreclosure, and you can walk up to them and say, look, I'll help you save your credit. All you got to do is leave the house. I'll take over your loan. And he was overjoyed to leave the house and have me take it over. And I pay, of course, on time every month. And I've taken really good care of it. And we work together very, very well on it. So. Yeah, it said real estate give you another 2009. Yeah. Oh man, can you imagine another crash in real estate? I mean, you're sitting some of these homes. The problem is that some of these Matchbox homes, they're already overpriced to begin with. So a nice crash would be exactly what some of those neighborhoods need. Do you understand why tenant trash foreclosure homes when they are evicted? Well, I've never rented. I've never been in the rental game, man. But obviously, if you're a tenant, right? If you're a tenant, and the house you're in, you've been renting, is going into foreclosure, yeah, I would be pissed off too. If you've been paying the landlord and then the landlord wasn't paying his mortgage, I'd fuck it up too. I'd fuck the shit up too, dude. I noticed some companies are on TD but not on Robinhood. Because Zach, Robinhood considers some stocks too dangerous for their traders, right? Robinhood traders are said to be not as sophisticated as traders on TD Ameritrade or on E-Trade. So, for example, on Robinhood, you probably won't find when it was, HMNY now is on OTC, but when HMNY was on the exchange, on the NASDAQ, they actually removed them on Robinhood. Just to answer your question. Citigroup. Sticking to the financials here again. GDP numbers coming out Thursday, 8:30. All right, so and I think that's why Bats talk about a bounce happening tomorrow. Even if we get a bounce tomorrow, I don't think it's going to be strong because people are waiting for that number. You're going to have those conversations happen. I think tomorrow, CNBC and all that. You'll start to hear those conversations a lot more as we approach Thursday. And then, of course, on Thursday, if the number's really ugly, foresee a sell-off. He's been unable. Trump has been unable to get that magical, I believe, 3% number he's been looking for. He's been unable to go do it. Because again, the global market, as I showed in my previous video, the global market is slowing down. People are moving to safe assets. It's very clear as we're going to see these inverted yields developing. It's clear as day in the data. Clear as day in the data. What's going on there? What's going on, Lord Yase? Yeah. But there's nothing wrong with Robinhood, man. Look, I thought Robinhood was a joke, but there are some guys who are, $50,000, $60,000 accounts in Robinhood, and they say that it's doing the job. Now, the first time that I used Robinhood back in 2017, I just felt like getting out of the trade was like, I got an error, and then I was like, what the fuck? Like this trade, I'm losing. I ended up losing like $110 on the trade because I couldn't get out. I'm pressing refresh, and then the app started slowing down, and I'm just like, what the fuck is this? And I couldn't do it anymore. But there's some guys who it works for them. But I decided, man, I'm just going to pay the $3, the $4, the $10, the whatever dollars to get my trade filled. Because I can't deal with that. It drives you crazy when you're in the middle trade, you're trying to get out or trying to get some profit. And then you got a market order just sitting there. Oh, yeah. Oh, Zach, trust me, people make money on Robinhood. People are making money on Robinhood. It's not everybody's a loser on Robinhood, man. There are a lot of people making a lot of good money on Robinhood. If you're somebody who's a swing trader or somebody who, again, like what I'm doing is taking these kind of moving average, especially if you're on a long-term chart, like a weekly chart, and you trade like 50 moving averages or some shit like that. Robinhood is a great broker for you to have. It's free. You just sit there, you check it on your phone. No complaint there. But if you're looking at day trade or be in and out every 2 or 3 days, do you want to do that, from your phone? I know there's a desktop version. NCTY, yeah, I think you brought it up already, man. NCTY. These ADRs, I'm not a fan of the ADRs, silver by the ounce. You don't have to let me know. When we talk about ADRs, I know we're talking about companies in other countries and all that stuff like that. But I've never seen these ADRs that are, actually very reliable to trade. PBR, Petrobras. Petrobras, this is an oil company out in Brazil. This is another one that's pretty liquid on the option side as well, too, PBR. This is another one that's very liquid on the option side. As you can see here, it's got some very interesting moves that it's made. So obviously some money can be made here, as this has been quite a mover over the last 90 days. All right. Yeah, nice moves over the last 90 days in PBR. Yeah. You can make some moves on this option or on this stock. Desert Edge, you said that number is going to be weak. I hope the number is weak. Yeah, again, I'm biased to the short side. I'm biased to the short side of this. I feel like, America in general, I feel like all the cheap money has underplayed the global risk out here. In terms of, I believe the American consumer is not as rich as they purport to be. I think most people are poorer than what they say, what data says they are. I believe America in general is a working class, poor country. And I think a lot of us use debt to finance our lifestyles particularly when you look at upper middle class people, many of them are just a couple paychecks away from complete economic disaster. And we saw that when the government gets shut down. We saw that when the government got shut down, and we're seeing people who work for the FBI, people who work for, at the airport, and people who work supposedly we believe are getting paid good money, some of them highly educated, ending up at food banks. I saw a report here on Charlotte. We had some of the IRS people, and to get some of those IRS jobs, it's hard as hell to get. It's hard to get any federal job. But some of those people been 20 years, 10 years on the job, and you telling me 30 days got you at a food bank? 30 days with no check got you at a food bank every night to get your family something to eat, and you've been on the job 30 years? I know your situation ain't right, man. I know your situation ain't right. So we saw a lot of things about the American economy that really brought to my attention that we're not as economically strong as people say we are. I really don't think we're that. I think there's a lot of people who are using credit. Sure, there's a lot of inherited wealth out there, but for most people, even the inherited wealth, it flies pretty quickly. When it's given to the next generation, but that's a whole different conversation too. Oh, absolutely, yeah, living beyond their means, absolutely. There was a report that came out a month ago showing how 7 million Americans are 90 days behind on their car loans. Google that. 7 million people more than 90 days behind on their car loans. Let's not even get into student loans. So there's a lot of things in there, And that was student loans. That was something that I had to deal with a lot too. This home, I put this in a corporation, just in case. I'm like, man, if they come after me, they might try to take my ownership of it or something like that for my student loans. So I was like, fuck it, I'll put this in the company. They can't come after it. But yeah, but here's the thing: the banks don't want to take. They don't want to take the cars, man. So some of these, I've known people like, man, 90 days, 120 days. They call up the bank. You down. You owe them $2,000, $2,500, and they take, one. Just because they know if they take back the car, they're gonna go to the auction and the dealers are gonna kill them at the auction. So the banks want to work with you. They want to work with you. It's a shitty position to be in overall. It's a shitty position to be in. I said, is college a waste of time? Depending on what you're going in, man. Unless you're trying to be a doctor or something. I personally think it's a waste of time unless you're trying to be a doctor. Unless you're trying to be a doctor or a scientist, or you're trying to be a college professor, I think whatever it is you can learn in college outside of those professions, you could probably learn it on YouTube. You could probably learn it on YouTube for a lot cheaper. You could probably learn it on YouTube for a lot cheaper. One guy was smart. He basically went, and I learned from this when I was living up in Durham, North Carolina. This guy basically, he was going to Duke University and he was getting the syllabus for the classes at Duke and the reading list, and he was basically studying what the kids were studying. So all he was doing was just buying the books and studying what they were studying and getting basically the same information. Sometimes he would go and even sit in the class because the class was so big. You don't even know who's a student or not. And that's literally, if you've been to college, you don't know if that person's a real student or not, unless it's like test day or something. Well, you just go up there, sit in the back, and he was doing that shit. And but he wasn't, again, not trying to be a doctor or a lawyer or something like that. I can't remember, but yeah. Absolutely. So again, to wrap the show up, the market right now, in my opinion, we should be going, sideways for a while, at least until Thursday. If you are long the stock market, you don't have a reason to sell just yet. Very interesting candlestick. You see here, beautiful doji candlestick yet. So it's not game over for the longs. It's not time to jump all in if you're a person who's shorting the market as well. So we've got a lot of freeway here to do. With more economic data comes out, we're going to see if we break lower or, if we end up going higher. We've got a lot of ways this can go. A lot of ways this can go. And, either like this or either this way and then like that, for the breakout. So it's a lot of ways this can go. As I've told you, I'm selling the 283 calls, and I still got to make a video on how to sell calls and puts. But those of you guys who take initiative, you should already know how to sell premium, and that's a great way to trade when you don't know whether or not it's going to go down or up, or if it goes up, you hope it doesn't go up too aggressively. And that's where I think we're going to end up not going higher too aggressively. And I think we trend sideways for a little while. You're looking for SPY 250? Wow, that's a very aggressive move. SPY 250, that's pretty aggressive. That's very, very aggressive. SPY 250. Wow, yeah, that's really aggressive. But right now, I'm just selling 283 right now as we try to find some footing. I think we hang here between 277 and 285 for a while. We'll see what happens until we get some other news to really let us know. Because again, I keep asking people, what is the catalyst for 3,000? We had a horrible earnings season in early March, late February, right? The expectation is a weaker earnings season in June, right? What's the catalyst for higher prices? We had economic data showing worse numbers, horrible numbers, and we kept going higher. All right, this is coming into January, So now, again, we're at some of these. We're back at these 2800, 28. So I'm selling again those 283s. But we'll see. Probably should be even higher at 287. But all right, so we're testing this, and again, just like any chart, when you start to see that 50 RSI getting touched and touched and touched and touched, eventually you're going to break lower. Desert Edge, that's the 25 moving average. What's going on, Moneybags? You said this is a fake economy. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you on that. It's there are a lot of things that are a lot of places that shouldn't exist, man. Think about the city you live in. Think about in the outskirts how you have those little communities with like 3-bedroom, 3-bath homes that are like 250, 300, like that are just out there, right? And these people buy them who are like can barely afford them to begin with, and they're living there, and it's like this kind of pretend like, yeah, I live outside here in the suburbs in this little matchbox house, and you know, it's all like bullshit. And you know, when the economy falls out, they're gonna end up selling the house and leaving. Like, you know, these crazy adjustable rate mortgages, or you know, it's just, you know. And some people say, well, oh, you're very pessimistic about the market and pessimistic about the American economy and blah blah blah. But you know, that's bullshit. You know. Oh no, bats. No, money bags. Not waiting for it. If it happens, it happens. But I would love it to happen. I would love it to happen because I would want to go in with every dollar I got on some of these great companies, right? Because I don't feel like it's not the time to do that now. I'd love to get in again. I just want the opportunity to get in into Amazon, into Nvidia, into some of these great companies at a better price. At a better price, and be able to say, you know, look where I got in. Look at what Warren Buffett can do. That's what Warren Buffett can do. Warren Buffett, he got in like Coca-Cola and all these other amazing companies at dirt cheap prices. He doesn't give a fuck, you know, on the day-to-day thing, on how things go. He got them at dirt cheap prices. Can you say the same for somebody like me? If I were to go into Amazon with every dollar I got right now, am I getting in at a great price? If I were to close my eyes and wake up 20 years from now, you know, not 20 years, 5 years from now, was that a good entry? Probably not. Yeah, 7 shares, 7 fucking shares, 8 shares. It's bullshit. It's fucking bullshit, man. Am I going in on Lyft and Uber? Nah, man. It's gonna. I'm gonna see what happens to those. What's going on with those? I'm gonna see what happens with that. On you know, because look, Levi Strauss. That's hilarious. What happened to Levi's, man? You guys remember Levi's going public the other day? That was hilarious. They went public, and now the whole company is just getting shit on it. Because at the end of the day, it's a jean company, bro. They make jeans. They make fucking jeans, man. They make jeans. And most people, Levi Stripes are popular. They do make money selling jeans, but most people buying these cheap-ass Chinese jeans, and they're a lot of times just as good than $50, $60 Levi's. And it's also retail. Uber will drop and pop with IPO. Yeah, I think Uber and Lyft, but they've got great product. I mean, I love Uber, bro. Every time I go into a new city, I'm Ubering around. You know what I mean? I don't even rent. The idea of renting a car doesn't even, you know, I just don't even think about it anymore when I go into a city. You know, like 3 or 4 years ago, 5 years ago maybe, yeah, you know, you rent a car or whatever like that. But now, dude, I mean, you know, $10 here, $20 here, you might as well just do that instead of renting a car and having to figure out parking and all that other shit. So unless you just kind of need the exclusivity of being able to move around when you feel like it. But I don't want to deal with parking. I don't want to deal with parking. I don't want to deal with having a car. I don't pay extra insurance. I don't want to deal with none of that. I land where I need to land, get to the airport, pull out my phone, call an Uber, it shows up, takes me where I need to go. And until I need to go somewhere else, I don't worry about having to, babysit a vehicle. And I'm sure some of you guys I appreciate that as well. Let me see here. Speaking of NVIDIA, let's take a look. God damn, I can't believe I still got 40 people up in here this late. Shout out to the late night crew. Shout out to the late night crew, man. I'm gonna let you guys go in a minute. I know I can go 7 hours, but shout out to the late night crew. NVIDIA, I'm watching this one. And this is really interesting because I'm going back to November here, looking for the possible breakout. We're in the gap here, and this is a really interesting price. In between that, so you're looking for a nice breakout, see if this can go higher. But you know, it was a down day, but we're hopefully seeing NVIDIA maybe break out of this and stay above the 10 moving average. Here's NVIDIA, and continue higher. But if this breaks down, then that's, you know, I start to think about, all right, do we start to come back and challenge these 150s? And I would definitely want to be a part of that if we do. If we do. Oh, you quit your job? You quit your job, Tall Zach? You know, speaking of jobs, man, there are a lot of bullshit jobs out there, too. We talk about a weak economy, a fake economy. There's a lot of bullshit jobs out here, you know, that are going to be, you know, pretty much eliminated by machines. Amazon is doing that with their little bots that they got running around the factory floor. And there's this weird video, man. Have you guys seen that video of this girl giving head in an Amazon facility? She's like sucking this guy's dick inside of an Amazon warehouse. It's hilarious. Anyway, McDonald's too. They're mechanizing. Right? So you go to McDonald's now, they got the screens. Unless you go to the ones in the ghetto and shit. But for the most part, McDonald's, they got the screens now. But always make sure you wash your hands on there because, again, I've said this on the show. Like, they found that almost 80% of those screens, when they wiped them down, they had feces on the screens. Traces of feces was found on those screens. So every time you go to those places and you're using those kind of touch screens, please wash your damn hands. Especially if you got young children, man, because you don't know where people are going and what they're doing. You know, you got people out here who are in all kind of line of work. God knows what they have. Yeah, they probably they found all kinds of traces on there. You can Google that too, like feces on McDonald's screens or something like that. You know. So trader will be around for a long time. You know what? Speaking of that could be at risk. The whole idea of trading could be at risk because, you know, the buyback, $8 billion that's being spent right now in buybacks. Do you know that the entire float of the New York Stock Exchange at the current rate could be gone by 2030 if they continue the current level of buybacks? Do you know that? You guys know that? There's because what the companies are doing is that they're taking this low rate money, pouring it back into the market by, instead of, again, creating short rate of value, they're buying back their stock. And I've always told you guys that stock buybacks are horrible. So that when the Democrats came out and the Republicans tried to come out and say, well, that's communist. No. Stock buybacks are horrible because they hurt people who have very few shares or who have very little investment, right? It hurts the little guy. It only helps the guys who have huge amount of shares in the company. It only hurts the rich, or it only helps the rich. If a company wants to help you, instead of having a buyback, they provide you with a dividend. That way, the money is spread directly to the shareholders equally, in a more equal way. Yes, of course, the guy who has more is always going to have, he's going to get more payout. More shares, you get more dividend. But in terms of as a relation to ownership, that's fairness. It's called that's fair. Whereas a stock buyback unequally benefits people who have the most. So if we continue to have the buybacks at the pace they're at, there won't be any float for you to trade. Let me see here. Yeah, Marco Rubio even came out with his own plan to ban buybacks. And again, last year was over $800 billion in buybacks last year. I think they said 2030 or something like that? Yeah, something like that. You might have to look up that article up, but you know, it's out there somewhere. But yeah, man. Stock buybacks are really eliminating the float. They're eating out the float. Company borrow money to buy back their shares, more control. Well, yeah, they've got more control, but it's not. They're not doing it for control. They're not doing it for control. They're doing it to raise the stock price. You know, they're not doing it for control. It's to raise the stock price. Now, what happens to the float when the market crashes? Well, they're going to end up selling, right? The float will increase when the market crashes because as they sell, there's more availability of the stock on the market. That's basically what selling does. It increases the availability of the stock, which lowers the price. You can't have a market crash. You can't have a stock crash without more stock being available for purchase. That's exactly what a crash is. All right. So people are buying and buying and buying and buying. That only makes the crash more dangerous. You know, the drop will be even more steep as these investors run to the exits. Institutional money managers, the companies themselves look to liquidate their positions to enable themselves to survive, you know, a recessionary economic environment, right? Because they need money too, right? They'll need money too. In those environments, a lot of companies can't go direct to investors, they can't go to financial institutions, so they go direct to investors with these, what you see a lot of times on penny stocks, where they go and they got to create new shares and create all kind of paper to raise money. In 2008 comes after huge buybacks. Well, the 2008, I didn't know that. I didn't read anything into buybacks on the 2008 crash, but I thought that was more or less the real estate. It's the bullshit that was going on in real estate, where people just weren't able to catch up to those adjustable rate mortgages when they would reset as the Federal Reserve raised interest rates. Right. And as you see here, we just had the Federal Reserve come out and say they can't do it because of what happened back in December and January, right? You guys remember that, what happened back then? You know, December and January. You know, November, December. All right, they came out, we're raising interest rates. 0.25 basis points did that. 0.25 basis points did that. So if 0.2 basis points can eliminate almost, I don't know how many billions of dollars of capital can do, was that, they're never going to raise interest rates again. Not under Trump's presidency. If this man gets reelected, we'll never, ever raise interest. That's not going to happen. Not going to happen. Yeah, 0.25 basis point increase resulted in us losing almost 50 points. Actually, we did lose 50 points. Actually, 60 points, depending on where you look at the entry of value on the SPY. Where do I expect Boeing to be in 3 months? That's a very hard question to ask, man. If I could answer that question, you think I'd be on YouTube talking right now? Shit. But no, seriously, I looking at where Boeing is and what they're dealing with right now, man, it's not looking pretty, bro. It's not looking very pretty for them. And so that's why, the smart way to go is, if you really want to play this is actually a really good place to be for a spread. And that allows you to play both sides of the trade, up and down, because you just don't know, But what you can look at the chart and you can say, and like, wow, look at the opportunity that I can make on the downside, and look at the opportunity that I can make on the upside of the trade. All right. So what I would do is probably, something with a lot of time on it, preferably if you said 3 months, but if you can afford something that's even further out than that, you would do that and do a spread here and then see what happens. You said sell calls. Yeah, yeah, a lot. I don't know. I don't know about that, because again, some of these companies that you're just like, ugh, man, they've done so much wrong. They've screwed people, and they continue to go higher, And Boeing's been around for a very long time. They're a very valuable enterprise. What they did is really fucked up. But these companies have money to manipulate politicians, to manipulate law. So there's a lot of things that you got to be very aware of. I mean, for example, when the crash happened, you see how quickly other countries were able to ban flights of that plane, but we wouldn't ban it for almost 3 or 4 days later. You guys remember that? So that's how crazy that these companies can really manipulate our government to do things. You know what I mean? So you can't just be like, they're going to 200. You just can't, bro. These people will write a check, and next thing you know, all the lawsuits get dropped and it's back to business as normal. Yeah, Boeing owns the FAA. Exactly. Desert Edge. What Desert Edge said is so true, because a lot of these people in these federal departments, they used to work at Boeing. They used to work at, these people know each other, man. That's why the drug companies is the way it is here in America. The FDA, most of these people come from these drug companies, from Merck, from Pfizer, so you got to go on both sides and figure out how to structure the trade to make it work for you. How to make it work for you. Look what happened today. Look at 2% pop today. 2% pop today. And you're probably going higher tomorrow on this nice little bounce that we're experiencing right now, as the market is going to open up in about 7.5 hours. 7 hours to be exact. Yes, indeed. He said Boeing too big to fail. Hilarious. No company should be too big to fail. That's the most anti-American thing to ever say. But we've gotten to that belief. Biogen, BIIB. Oh shit, nice one on this one. Here's another farm. Yeah, this is a pharmaceutical. BIIB. What caused the drop? Desert Edge in this. That's a nice little doji too. Again, I don't know the business of this company, so you're gonna have to excuse me on that. Of course, this is how it looks in the ASHI charts. But let's go back to the candles. But as you can see here, got some consolidation as the selling. Is my audio fucked up? Hold on, am I back? I don't know what happened to my audio for a second. Shout out to the 832 who told me to check my audio. Okay, hold on. Okay. I don't know what happened. My mute button got pressed. I didn't even touch it though. All right. It's like some of y'all trying to tell me I should go get off the line. I'm on a roll though. I'm on a bit of a roll here. It's like the spirits, the munchkins trying to tell me I should go to sleep. Let me see here. Again, JP Morgan. JP Morgan is another one too. You know, again, these financials are getting killed, man. These financials are getting killed. You're gonna see a nice little, could possibly see a nice little pop on these, but they move so quickly. Even on the hourly, God, this was such a beautiful move, and I just, there was SPY, and it was IWM a couple days ago, and it was just so many, and you can only put your money in so many places. You know what I mean? That's the frustration about being a trader. You just don't have unlimited capital to be like here. You've really got to focus on a couple issues, but man, there were some really great trades going into last week. Going into the end of the week. From that breakdown, man, which was really, really clear to see again on the hourly. Obviously, going into some of the smaller time frames was even easier to see, but the hourly was just such a beautiful signal on SPY, on IWM, on XLF, so many of these other ones that are very, very good to look into. DPW. DPW, yeah, here's another one, right? Here's another kind of low RSI thing, and that's what I told you. This is a scary one to play because again, you get the drop, right? The next day you get I wouldn't say, people call it a doji, but that body's pretty big. The next day you actually crack below, or actually stick at the low, and then you go even lower. And this is really where it gets frustrating, but then you bounce back here. Because I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of guys who made money here were in their stock over here, but they sold here. Because you don't expect it to do that. It's typically something where you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to go sideways, and then we're going to go higher. But, there's no expectation for many times the guys who buy an oversold stock for the stock to go lower, right? And I'm talking a 25. This is a 25-cent move here. If you look at the chart, that's like a 25-cent move. From that low. Now you're back to 94 cents, but how many guys would go in at 74 cents, watch their 74-cent position go to 58, and have the courage to stay in the trade? To have the courage to stay in the trade. Now you're at 94 cents. Big move in the stock today. You actually touched $1 and got even more money, but it takes balls of steel to do a trade like that. And if you zoom into the time frame, here's the hourly. Here's the hourly. As you can see here, look at the fake out on the consolidation move. Boom, hit you, and you just started selling off. And it's like, what the fuck is going on? And if you didn't catch it right, you're fucked. Now, obviously, a very generous move coming out of the end of the week in DPW. Yeah, the news has been awesome. The news is awesome. Obviously, that reverse split got people very uninterested in sticking around. Yeah. Yeah, look, if you want to up your technical analysis knowledge, there are tons of books available for you on that. Again, YouTube videos can only do so much, man. Sometimes you just gotta get a weekend or a couple hours and get yourself, download a nice little PDF that you can give yourself an hour or two to read. I just put Trader's Library there in the description. So there are tons of over 200 books or think along that website you can grab just to kind of take a look and get some ideas from other traders about technical analysis and how to look at charts. And again, it's not for you to do exactly what they say. It's for you to kind of take pieces and ideas from, what other people who've been in the business longer than you have to say on a particular subject. CHK, I want to look at what the ticker you have been profitable on. Let me get that out the way. CHK, let's pull the chart back a little bit. All right, so pretty bouncy here, right? I mean, pretty bouncy on CHK. Not the prettiest chart in the world. Not the prettiest chart in the world. Kind of hovering around that, 240, 340 level, All right. CHK oil and gas play. Absolutely. DPW should be a stock to watch. Look, guys are buying it after the split, man. I mean, guys are buying it after the word of the 1 for 21 in reverse split. You're going to have to read what kind of split that is, whether or not, they're not just simply, because I remember posting on something on reverse splits too. There's a lot of downside risk to reverse splits as well, because a lot of shareholders get diluted not only through that, but a lot of times you have people who the company owes money to end up not losing anything, and they end up just dumping their shares as well. Would a long call with a 4 strike be a good contract for summer? Back on CHK, a call with the 4 strike. Let me see here. Let's take a look at the weekly. Oh, well, the weekly makes sense for it. Absolutely. The weekly chart makes that trade look like it makes a lot of sense. For a $4 strike for CHK. How much time you looking for it for the summer? Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty, very, very, again, you got a nice little, developing those higher highs in the chart. You got a very nice trend. You can very clearly see it here developing on a weekly basis. Obviously, on the daily, we're seeing a bit of, weakness a little bit here at these mid threes. Right, we're developing a bit of some walls here at the threes. I'm not sure what's going on with that. You're going to have to overcome that. But I clearly see some issues going on here at the threes. All right, we can go back here, all the way back here, and see what's going on with that. But obviously, it's developing. You got a nice little trend that's developing here, man. It's going the right way. But you got to make sure, of course, you stay above this 25 moving average, because that's the only way you're going higher. All right, that's the only way you're going higher is above the 50 RSI. So when Bats called and he talked about that 50 RSI, and what I've talked about here a lot, unless you're above that 50, you ain't going anywhere. You ain't going anywhere unless you're above the 50 RSI. And that's coming from above to below, right? Obviously, if we were at 10, sure, go in there at 10 RSI. That's not, but if we are at 56 and then we go to 49 and we're not coming back, that's not rising, we're in trouble. We're in trouble. But I would take the risk on that. But again, you gotta hold at 25. And so far, it's done it once, right? With a very similar candlestick. It's done it once. So it looks to be an area where buyers see an opportunity to take a position. And why they're being impatient at this 330s, it's for you as a trader to learn why. IWM. Yeah. IWM. Yeah, I'm following it very, very closely, IWM. Again, when we talk IWM, we're talking some of the most poorly structured companies on the exchange. I mean, companies that haven't made any money since they went public, right? I mean, we're talking Grubhub. We're talking, just a lot of crappy companies with highly leveraged debt, companies that live on toxic paper, and they're able to survive because, again, we have a low interest rate environment, so they're able to borrow. But anytime that comes at risk, or as we've had in my previous video where I told you about how we're starting to see people move into safer assets, companies like IWM can't struggle in that kind of environment. Can't survive in that kind of environment. They cannot survive in an environment where people, aren't interested in taking risk with their capital. They can't survive. So IWM is definitely one that, you can make a lot of money if things go bad over the next couple months market wide. Things go bad, IWM is going to be, just like it was in November to early January. Incredible amount of profit potential. I made a lot of money in IWM. And I've said this before. One of the reasons why I'm not a slave to YouTube day in and day out is because, I went all in. IWM, SPY, Square, a lot of those stocks that I've been talking about month in and month out. I saw the entry and just threw everything I had in it. But then, of course, January happened and, they said, we're not going to raise interest rates. We're not going to eliminate our balance sheet. And sure enough, and then now we're back to where we are now. Poker Pro on what? Cresco Labs, one of the largest vertically multi-star labs in the country, completed portion of Michigan application process. Poker Pro, what company are you talking about? Oh, CRLBF. CRLBF. Let's just take a look at it real quick. Yeah. somewhere in the show, maybe an hour or two ago, I had a whole spiel of these MJ plays, and we talked about the MJ plays and again, how lucrative the business has now become for a lot of traders. And again, kudos to everybody who was in it at the beginning when everybody was saying how shady some of these companies were and how they were so early and blah, blah, blah. Now they've been able to prove the fact that, again, the business is a big money maker for states. These states are making a ton of money, and now they're jumping on board. They're jumping on board. And it's only a matter of time till at the federal level they get the approval. The problem is that, in America, we've built an economy on the criminalization of marijuana. And now that's a problem, right? That's a problem now if you've got a government that's got to come out and say, oh, well, no, you know what? Now it's not so bad. So, okay, now it's not so bad. What do you do with these people who have basically had their lives ruined by having a couple ounces of marijuana? So like California's done recently, they've got gone back and, restored people's voting rights, restored their ability to get financial aid. And so, when you're talking about the resistance to cannabis that still exists, you're talking about, public, privately owned prisons. You're talking about all of these companies that have had really the last 60 years to create this kind of environment where marijuana is evil, it's bad, it's criminal, and caused a lot of people a lot of harm, destroyed a lot of lives, destroyed a lot of lives, Yeah, it's already approved. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's already approved everywhere. They're good to go, and I'm glad it happened. But we still need to get national legalization. And we need to, allow these companies to be able to tap into real institutional capital in a major way. Because if you look at a lot of the financing where they're getting it from, they're still getting it from these kind of third tier investment banks. They're not going to the Citigroups and the JP Morgans. This, you got some companies that are dabbling with them, but not yet. Not yet. It's still a tricky, murky water for a lot of them. But low float right now, of course, yeah, you're pretty overbought now at the daily, But don't expect this to come all the way back and touch the 25 on the. It looks like actually you did come back here back in March from those. So again, very healthy, but obviously look at your entry and be where you are. You're gonna have a zombie economy or collapse like Japan. Nah, man, don't let the collapse. If it happens, it happens. Again, the moving averages will tell you. But until you get there, just if we bounce back above 25, guess what? I'm back above 25. I'm going back long again too. Look at this. I'm not playing with this. If we back here, let's put my 25 moving average back up here, and my 10 already forced me to get out, and I'm going to show you how the hourly looks like. We crack above the hourly again. My video, the only trading strategy you'll ever need, right? We crack above the 10 tomorrow. We go back and cross the 25. That means we're going to cross the 50 moving. I'm back long. Okay, maybe the crash won't happen today, because I don't know if we're going to have this move again. I was a part of this move as well, And if we're going to have a move like this, you're going to want to be a part of this, right? Oh, yeah, this could be the crash. Nope. Consolidation, spike above the 10. All right, change in trend. We're above 10 moving average, the short term, high, it's very powerful moving average, the 10 moving average. Move above, okay, we're back above the 50. I got to be a buyer. I got to be a buyer here. All right. Got to be a buyer. And then boom, cracked above the 10. Now I'm watching. I posted on my Instagram showing I actually got in here. Got in with the trader. Then the Fed came out, said blah blah blah. We spiked. Very next day. And for some, thank God I kind of saw we were selling off because I almost sold into that. But didn't. But as you can see here, SPY, I'm more than happy to go back long again. Desert Edge, you said you like the 4 hour. Dude, if you remember my last couple, dude, it's so hard. I try to do weeklies. I try to do dailies. And daily is okay, but weekly, man, I mean, it's just, it's just sometimes you get impatient. A weekly chart, man, is it, bro. A weekly chart requires some of the most demanding discipline. I mean, you want to talk about discipline? You trade a weekly chart, dude. There are days that the stock will go against you 3-4%, and you just got to sit there. You got to sit there. And I'm talking in an option, a 3% move in an option, that's like 20% on the option. Right? Those of you guys who are option traders. A 3% move on the stock, that's like that's like a 20% loss day. And guess what? You would pull up the weekly, and guess what? The weekly shows you not to do a goddamn thing. And you got to sit through that. You got to sit through that. And having the discipline to do it, that's a whole nother level of personal discipline, bro. So I had to come back down. I had to come back down to an hourly because I was like, okay, I'm clearly still an addict. I'm clearly still an addict when it comes to trading. So I need to get my fix of making purchases or get myself in a position. So now I'm not going to go shorter than an hour because, as we've said, what's going on, LK Ra? As we said, Jason Epps, what's up, man? As we said, God, now I lost my train of thought. I fucked up and lost my train of thought. ONCX, let's take a look at that. All right, I'm about to get out of here. I know I've kept y'all for a long ass time. ONCX. OTC play, man. Looks like it's still got a lot of paper out there that people need to buy up on. You going short? Okay. I don't know to go short the market just yet, man. Like I said, we're living in a Trump world, dude. This guy can send out a tweet and squeeze the shit out of you, bro. And that's why my last video, people were like, yeah, this time this thing's about to crack. Nah. Understand, bro. This man in the White House, dude, he'll send out a tweet and this market will fly, dude. He'll come out and talk about China like he's never talked about China before. The China deal is going great. We're making steps. He's pimped out the China deal. He has pimped out the China deal. I've never seen anybody pimp out news like that before. I mean, the same thing for like 6 months. But when I talk about going short the SPY, when we go back, if we fall back below the hourly, yes, I'm going to be back on the side of the trade. Again, the video is called The Only Trading Strategy You'll Ever Need on my channel. And basically, I lose whenever we do a sideways, whenever we go sideways. But as long as we stay directional, I win. But when we start to trend, then I've got to go into selling calls or selling puts. But as long as we stay directional, with relatively large swings between up and down, that's how my trading strategy it stays profitable for you. But if we go sideways, then it's a losing trading strategy, and I admit that. I admit that. You know, if we start to do, you know, just kind of like a straight, it's a no-go. You exited your SPY and IWM trade. What he said no collusion, boom. Yeah, what that's the thing, Bats. The boom should have been today. The boom should have been today. You know. Yeah, man, look, I knew this guy wasn't going anywhere, man. I mean, you just had some of these Democrats and deep state guys who just hate that man's guts, you know, because he's really not a part of their blood, right? But I knew this was all kind of bullshit. Snap, nice little bounce on Snap. Yeah, but I've told you guys, man. I not all of you. I think mostly on Twitter, but Andrew Yang, man. I'm going with Andrew Yang as the next president of the United States, bro. That Andrew Yang. Have you watched Andrew Yang? Let me tell you guys something, man. If this economy falters when they expect it to, you know, late summer, early fall, August, September-ish, you know, then we start getting real deep into it, right? Maybe this time next year, you know, maybe we start seeing some layoffs or some shit like that. And this guy, Andrew Yang, is talking about $1,000 a person. Everybody getting a check. You know, the conversation is going to be why too big to fail when you can give me money? Why should we give Goldman Sachs, Citigroup? Why should we save them? Save me. Save me, the American citizen. Bail me out. And that's where Andrew Yang wins, man. That's where Andrew Yang wins. So I'm going with Andrew Yang to pull out the W. Because I'm gonna tell you, this is America, man. Anybody talking about getting some free money in an environment where nobody has money, that's the guy who's gonna win. That's the guy who's gonna win. You said you're gonna do some strangles on Thursday, okay? Okay. Yeah, we talked about ONCX. There's nothing going on there. Still a lot of paper on the floor there. Desert Edge, he says, "Save me, I give." Yeah, exactly. That's what's gonna happen, man. You know, you got people out here losing their jobs, no job. You know, hungry. You know, and you talking about giving people $1,000 a week? Yeah, you're gonna win, man. You're gonna win. Chico's Fashions, again, retail play. You know, this is Chico. This is kind of one of those like rainbow type places, right? You know, this reminds me of that place in the mall, Lane Bryant. You know, back in my day when I used to hang out at malls, I'd go to Lane Bryant because Lane Bryant is all the girls with huge tits. If you got a huge tits, you probably shop at Lane Bryant. Because Lane Bryant, they got little cute tops. It's usually for bigger girls or girls with like they're skinny but they got real big ass tits. So I'd go to Lane Bryant. Well, I wouldn't go in the store, but I'd go around Lane Bryant. You know, just trying to mac on the ladies and shit. You know, that was a spot, man. Yes, indeed. But Chico, I think Chico's is if I remember, Chico's Chico's Fashion. Yeah, it's a ladies brand, right? Let me see. Chico's Fashions. Yeah, I think it's a ladies brand. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I can't remember though. Yeah. You say you love BBWs. Yeah, I'm not a BBW. I just love chicks with huge fucking tits. That's why every one of my girlfriends, even my daughter's mom, you know, you look at all of them have just huge fucking tits. You know, small frame but big fucking udders. You know, like, god damn, what the fuck is wrong with you? Are you like a, you know, the hell's wrong with you? Yeah. Big knockers, right. Oh, let me show you one of my exes on, I went to college with her, bro. And now she's an Instagram model. I didn't even know that. Someone hooked me up, and I'm gonna show you her picture right now. And some of you guys might recognize her. Because she's not popular. I think she's only got like 20,000 followers. She should have a lot fucking more, but she's lazy. But she's got big fucking huge tits too. Let me see here. First, let me pull up the pic because I screenshotted some of her shit. You guys want to see it or probably not? Because she's on Instagram. You guys should follow. Give her some likes. Give her some likes. Let me I think I can screenshot this right now. God, now you want to be fucking slow. Yeah, I think I don't know. Maybe she's got more than that. I don't know. I can't remember. It's been a minute since I went to her page. Let me see. Hold on. Where is Instagram.com? Hold on. Let's see. Hold on, guys. Just give me a second, man. If you like following hot girls, trust me, you're going to be, you know, at least hot black chicks with big tits. But she's got 2 kids now. Well, she still looks good. All right. But she fucked herself up because she's got like 2 kids now. And, you know, but she's got a nice body, though. The body still looks great. But, like, you know, you're not going to want to, like, you know, I don't know. It's hard to explain. You guys know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? A chick who's got like a lot of kids. She's hot, but she's got, you know, a real kind of fucked up personal situation. You know, but now all she does is like show her tits on Instagram. God, how can I? Oh, great. This is you're gonna have to. Let me add the source. Hold on. Yeah, I gotta darken that area up a little bit so I don't get. All right, let me see. There she is. Hold on, how do I make that bigger? There it goes. So, hot, right? Real petite, huge fucking knockers. But you know, little arms. I'm not big into fat chicks, man. I just like chicks with small frames and huge ass tits. And damn. Did I exit out of that? Hold on. Let me bring her back up. Can I bring her back up? Her name is X. And she's got a weird ass. I'm not gonna give you her real name because she's probably hiding it for a reason. But XM. Let me just type it. I'm gonna type it up there for you guys, man. Fuck this shit. This. Hold on. Yeah, she's. God damn, where's? Hold on, I'm gonna find it. Give me a second, guys. That's just such Instagram too. When you're like looking for a particular girl, that's when it starts getting like, oh, where's you know, unless you memorized her shit. You know, otherwise it's like she kind of shows up when she wants to. Under your feed, or when the system wants it to. And when I'm live, everything on my fucking computer goes fucking slow as fuck. So it's not me, guys. It's, you know, when I'm live, I feel like my whole system just starts to crawl when I start doing some other shit. And this girl changes her name all the goddamn time, too. And I follow her on Facebook. God damn, man. All right, y'all gonna have to forgive me, man, on this damn Instagram shit. I'm gonna find it, but what is her fucking Instagram name? I'm gonna find her shit, man. She doesn't have her Instagram on her Facebook? That's why I told you guys she's like lazy as fuck when it comes to this. I know she's got Instagram somewhere in here. All right, man. I'm not going to take up too much more time with this, but I'm going to find it. Just somebody remind me about it some other time, but somebody remind me another time. Let me post another picture of this, though. Maybe I'll post to show you guys a little bit more. Where's before I get up out of here. Let me see. But man, you know, these women are a dime a dozen though, bro. You know, these women are a dime a dozen out here, dude, in the world. I mean, you know, they're a dime a dozen. You know, again, can't have ridiculous big ass arms. I don't like these kind of fat girl arms. You said giving free breast exams, hilarious, dude. Peace, Bats. He said thanks for the Bammeries, hilarious. But I'm about to get up out of here myself too. I'll find her shit, man. Yeah, that's just such like Instagram, dude. Where's when you're like, yeah, what happened to that? What's her name? That's when you start struggling to find a chick. Otherwise, she's all over your damn feed. But she was another one where it's like, oh, you all over the internet. You should give me some money. Like, you should give me like $250 like every week. I'm like, and at first, you know what I mean, she hooking you up or whatever. And it's just like, God, man, what you mean though? You over there talking about money and all that shit, but you don't want to give me no money. And then it's like, and then she got pregnant again, and it was like, it's like, fuck, man. And when you messing with some other, she's running around. Y'all know dealing with girls in the hood. You know what I mean? Just these girls in the hood that got a lot of body, right? And, she kind of hood, got a lot of body, and a lot of dudes talk to her, but in terms of personal decision making, it's just the shit. And that's my problem there, because I'm messing with girls like this, because otherwise I need to find like somebody who's stable, somebody who's like got a good education and doing something, you know what I mean, instead of messing with chicks. But again, when you fucking like hood rats with big tits like I do, this is this fucking situation you end up in, man. Shit like that. So anyway, that's her. And you said she needs to learn how to trade stocks. Hilarious. Yeah, man, that's a wrap, bro. That's a wrap. I will be back on. I know I say that all the time, but man, it's so hard to get into a flow, man. I don't know why it's so hard to get, because I love doing my show. I think you guys appreciate the commentary, because man, I've been watching some guys on YouTube, man, and there have been guys who are trying to do a show like this. God, y'all fucking boring as fuck, man. I can't even stand 10 minutes watching some guys talk about the stock market. Like, I don't know if they just don't have no real passion. I don't know if you guys just trying to do this for the YouTube money, because there ain't really that much money into it. You know what I mean? This ain't no Jay Leno type shit. So you really had to have a real passion, and you really got to actually be practicing what you preach, actually really trading for it to make sense for you, So I just got to get into a rhythm, because I'm home all day anyway. I'm home all day. But that's the problem, is that, yeah, a lot of guys are boring. And again, I've been messing with these hood rats, bro. Messing with these hood rats. I got women coming over during the day because, again, I'm home. Right? I'm home. So I got these women coming over, and a lot of them, they work at, bullshit jobs like Dollar Tree. I don't know why. God, man, I know I'm doing wrong, bro. And I know I don't want to say I'm living wrong, because I don't want to say I'm living wrong, but I know these aren't the quality of women that, like, long term makes sense for somebody like me. But I don't know. I get a high off somebody like a pretty girl who ain't got shit. Like a pretty girl who ain't got shit, and like giving her like a little bit of money to like get her hair done. You know what I mean? She's calling you daddy, and you know what I mean? I get a high off that shit, bro. I don't know what it is, man. Like straight up calling me daddy, dude. I got maybe like 4 girls in my phone right now who call me daddy. They don't even call me. You guys call me Sal. They call me daddy, dude. Straight up. I get on the phone like, hey, what you doing, daddy? You know how women talk. And it's not, and these, I'm not giving them like a lot of money. I'm not giving them a lot of money. Again, women in the hood, and that's the thing about Charlotte. It's not even like a real hood. I'm not even giving them like a lot of money. It's like, can you give me $30? I'm like, $30? Yeah, I just need like $30 right now. And sometimes, can you give me $12? What? Who calls up? It's like, okay, Cash App, $12. There you go. And it's like, they really find that like really like a lot of money. And it's like, God damn. And some people, you may explain to somebody and somebody who doesn't understand, they like, you think you're buying love. It's not buying love. They really genuinely feel like you giving them money is love. Like if you never been through it, you don't understand, because it's not like, you know, man, that's hard to explain if you're not really from that. You don't understand that environment, man. Like it's you got to understand, these are women who like grow up in environments where like every guy they're involved with is like really just fucked up person, looking to exploit them, looking to really like use them or take advantage of them. And now here you are, you just some dude who's like, yeah, you see them every so often. You're not really on they back like that, trying to get something out of them for nothing. You know, they come, every time they come into you, they leaving with something. You know, so these women are like, wow, oh my God, he's so nice. Every time I go to his house, like I get to chill, I can sleep there. I'm gonna get food. I get to get out of my mom's house. You know, getting like mid-20s, still living with their moms a lot of times. I get to get out of my mom's house. I could go there and I could stay a week at a time, 2 weeks at a time. Like I said, I just had a girl here for like a week and a half. Just sitting here chilling, just banging the shit out of her whenever I want, dude. Wake up in the morning, bang her. Downstairs, bang her. Up there, bang her. She'll go to work, come back, bang her. You know, and then go back to her mom's place. You know, man. And again, I know this lifestyle is just, it's not conducive to someone who's looking to end up eventually being in like a stable, I want to get a nice little wife and 3.5 or 4 kids or whatever it is. And eventually I'll get to that, man, because every time I've gotten into that situation, it's always end up being like really, I don't know. I just get, gosh, man, I just get bored. He said 2 days at the most. He said, I need to listen to Project Packs. You don't need to be saved. No, but it's the thing. I'm not saving none of these women, bro. I just love to chill with these chicks. I just love to chill with a chick that's going to come through. She's going to roll a blunt. She's chill. Not going to give me no, like, attitude about, like, what I want to do for the next 10 years of my life. Because, I could go back and do the corporate thing and, make $50K, $60K, and eventually roll up to a middle management bullshit position. And I was doing that, but when I started doing the stock thing, a lot of women who are into that corporate hustle, right? Because you have a lot of black women who are just like, I work for so-and-so. And those women weren't interested in what I was doing, right? They weren't interested in, like, they were like, wow, you losing your mind? Like, you're going to do this stock thing and, you're like an entrepreneur, like it's not really safe. And I'm like, shit, I'm going to take 7 years off and try my hand at something different. And, if I'm not where I want to be by the time I'm 34, I'll go back to work. Fuck it. I'm going to go back to work and I'll not miss a beat, But who would fuck with me were girls who, may not have the best education, right? But they're kind of just living day to day, and life is, kind of, as it is for them, and they're relaxed, and they're not, really about giving me a hard time about what I want to pursue and my dreams. In fact, if anything, they find it like, oh my God, this is great. Like what you're doing, and you're on YouTube, you got these followers, you got people who fuck with you. You're taking L's and wins, and you overcoming obstacles. Yeah, like real. These are real women. You know what I mean? And they don't come from the best backgrounds. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna lie. I've been in environments where I go over to their place. I'm like, shit, get your shit. Let's get out of here. Like, what's going on here? Because weird ass dudes that'll be by the house for their moms or their sisters. These motherfuckers is like, tatted up and all, like, and I'm not saying tatted up on like arms. I'm talking, this motherfucker's got tats on his face and shit. What the fuck is this? Who is this dude? Like, hurry up and get your night bag and get up in this car and let's get up out of here, man. Shit. And, but they're real ones. You know, like I said, they real ones, man. You know, they real ass chicks. Like this guy say, yeah, they ADOS. You're right. They just real ass chicks who, you know, just keep it 100, man. And I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that while I'm in this situation where I'm just trying to build, you know, building my investment career. You know, because like I've told you guys, I tried to get put on it at a bank. You know, I tried to get into, you know, somewhere where I could be in a trading room and be a part of a team that's managing 50 M's, 100 M's. You know, I try to do that. These people, you know, if you don't look a certain way, or even though I'm just as smart as them, in my opinion, I feel like I can be just as thorough. I can learn whatever they want to learn, but I'm not going to wait for the opportunity to open up. I'm not going to wait. I'm going to create my own opportunity on my own level, and I'm going to be appreciative of that. And I work to get that level. And if it don't work out, I'll go back to work. If it doesn't work out, I'll go back to work. Ever try prop trading? I like the idea of prop trading. I just don't like what they're trying to take out of what you want. But maybe I just haven't given it. You know, I need to understand how prop trading can really take me to the next level. Right? How does prop trading get you in a position where you know, can I be put in a position to make $50K a month or more? You know, because I know guys in here, and I've done it myself. I've hit 10K months. You know, 12K months, 15K months. Can prop trading take me to the next level where I want to do $25,000 in a month, $30,000. I've got goals; those listed out. $25,000 in a month return. You said you love ghetto chicks. That's hilarious. Yeah, man. You say you work at corporate. It sucks. You work with people trying to make a move up. Seem like that's a success. Yeah, man. You know, and I've done that, dude. Business casual dressing, and you know, just being a I don't want to say being a bitch, but man, you just really, at the end of the day, when you go and work in corporate America, as a brother, they're gonna put you under a woman anyway. You know, they always put you under a woman. It's very much you know, oh man, you don't have time for shit. You can't even get days off. It's just frustrating, bro. So I just was like, you know what? If I can get my rent paid by, at the time, YouTube, if I can get my rent paid by YouTube, fuck it, then that means I can stay home, man. I get myself on food stamps, and at the beginning, that's what I was on. Real talk. And not me personally, but I had a homegirl who had food stamps. I'd buy food stamps from her. I had, you know, at the time, I also had a roommate. I had a whole bunch of like other situations fitting up where you can stay at home, and people think you're crazy. People think you're crazy for doing that, but you can always go back. If you're talented, always go back. You know, you can always go back. So, and I'm like, okay. And at the time, I was 27. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to, you know, give 7 years off, man. Take 7 years off and see what happens. So if it don't work out, go back, be 34, 35, you know. I'm not going to miss a goddamn thing at all. Sal is what an ADOS ally. Appreciate you, Pro Woman J. Appreciate y'all, man. I really hope that situation with the ADOS things goes through, man. Because that would be a really great business opportunity, man. Because I'd love to be able to travel and now with people who have, and those of you guys who don't know what that ADOS thing is people who are trying to push for reparations to people who are descendants of slaves. So if that goes through, which it should, right? If we can write $23 trillion for Citigroup and Citibank. Why not 10 trillion for, and they're not even asking for 10 trillion. I think it was like 1 or 2 trillion or something like that. Put that in the hands, and I'd love to be able to travel, teach people how to invest, and these people would have the funds necessary to be able to do it on a large scale, and it'll only help the country. So hopefully that works out. I really do hope so. It only help the markets with this newfound capital, new investments, new things being built, new projects. People are really going to be moving and shaking, making purchases. So there's going to be opportunities for people who have goodwill to be able to, produce, services to help these people who finally have the means to make moves. So we'll see. But yeah, going back to my life story though, man, I mean, that's basically where I'm at right now, man. That's basically where I'm at right now. So I gotta just come correct in terms of the show, man, because I know I probably haven't gone as hard as I probably could, or as I definitely nowhere near as I used to. Boy, I could tell y'all about some stories when I needed this YouTube check, boy. I could tell y'all some stories, but that doesn't mean I should slow up now that the game is good. I should stay on the neck of the game, and I know that, and that's why I think today. That's why I was like, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't. I was like, man, get up on that damn computer, and that's what made me. And then look at this. 3 hours? That's how much I love this shit. That's how much I really love talking about the markets. Because guys who can't even do 10 minutes, man. 20 minutes, they running off. 30 minutes, they running off. Y'all know I've done 8-hour shows. You said ADOS was a stock. Hilarious, Bats. Yeah, it's a movement that's underground for now, but it's boiling to the surface of people who are trying to rectify that situation. But yeah, man, I got so much more stories for y'all. I could keep y'all for a whole nother hour. These women I'm juggling in my life. I'm having a really great time right now. In life, the markets are I finally have it figured out. I've improved my discipline, and I really hope you guys get there as well. Most of you have. Most of you make a lot of money. I know many of you guys make way more money than me, but you're very close-lipped about it, and you just really enjoy the show and stuff like that. And I appreciate all the advice you guys give me off air as well. And when you guys call in, I really, really appreciate that. And really make the show what it is. So I'm going to be, hopefully this is the beginning of me being more consistent. But again, like I said, when these women come over, whew, I'm telling you, I showed you a picture of just one. I showed you a picture of just one. So when they come through, it's hard to be like, yeah, I'm gonna go on YouTube when you got that laying in the bed or on the sofa. You know what I mean? But we just having fun right now, man. Just having a good time. All right. So let me thank you guys around. Again, I couldn't believe I was going to get this many people. That's why when I first started off the show, I was like, okay, if I can get 10 people past 11 o'clock, I'll keep doing it. I think we got up to as high as 45, 47, 48. I didn't think anybody would be up this late. Yeah, that's crazy. So I appreciate you guys staying up this late because I know some of you guys have offices to be in tomorrow. All right. Yes, indeed. I appreciate you guys. All right. Let me start that track over again. Yes, indeed. That almost 101 times. Oh, okay. You've been here. Yeah. Okay, right. Yeah, you've been here since the beginning. Some of you guys have been here. A lot of you guys have been here since the beginning. Appreciate you, Bats. A lot of you guys have been here for a long time, man. Some of you guys have had kids since you started watching me. Bought new houses. Went from losing day traders to winning day traders. So we've done a lot of growing up together. And we still got a lot of growing up to do. You know, so don't worry. We're still here. God willing, we're all still here, still happy, still healthy. And we got a lot of moves in the market to profit on, man. This is just the beginning. Either we're going to go to 3,000 to 4,000 and 5 and beyond, or we're going all the way back down. Either way, I'm with it, dude. Either direction, I'm with it. You know, I don't give a damn. I'm with it, dude. Just secure the bag, you know, whatever direction we go. Yeah. Said, watch those E-mini future. Yeah. Appreciate you, Bats. Tall Zach. Chlamydia Futures. Pro Woman J, thank you. Who else was in here? Of course, LK Rob, Dollar Will. Who else, man? Mr. Cool. Mr. Mosby. That's the DMV lifestyle. Yeah, y'all get down in the DMV, I heard. Colande, appreciate you, brother. Cashmatic. Who else? Mayo Sauce. Alan West. Is that the real Alan West? This better not be that General Alan West. Shout out to everybody who was in here, man. Anthony Smith, appreciate you, bro. Blue Cousin. Everybody else who was in here. Anybody watching in the future. Poker Pro. South Beach Trader. Shirley Lewis. Mo Money. Amy Early. Jason Epps. All of you guys here, man. Shout out to the DMV. Shout out to all those places. So it's like, oh yeah, dude, I definitely know. I don't play around with that strap up stuff, bro. Like I said, I had one child out of wedlock. You know, that's not happening again, bro. That's not me. And that will never happen again, because that situation, thankfully, she comes from, her mom is a good woman, a good mom, and she's one of those like corporate type chicks. But that will never happen again. I will never ever have a child out of wedlock again. That's not, because it just pains me, bro, when she has to leave and go back to her mom, and you know, that's fucking sucks. That fucking sucks every time that happens. So we gonna work on that for sure. And I've been real serious about making sure that you know, you don't end up being just like a baby factory. I'm definitely not one of those dudes at all. Anthony Smith driving. That's what's up, bro. Shout out to you, Anthony Smith. Shout out to all my... Are you trucking, Anthony? Shout out to all my truckers. I got a lot of truckers because they love the fact that my videos are so long, so they can just throw up a video and just have it play. A lot of soldiers, too, the same way. They like that because my videos are pretty long and a lot of variety to them and shit. So shout out to those guys working the night shift as well. Until then, be safe out there, Mr. Smith. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, until I'm back on the air, which will be this week, expect me, because I really want to see what happens when the data comes out on Thursday, particularly Thursday. I really want to see what happens Thursday. I'm aiming for Thursday night show. I really want to see what happens when that number drops. Because if it's a great number, then fuck it. Dow 3,000. Let's go. Yes, indeed. Oh, no, Bats, I think you're thinking about the other Anthony. You're thinking about the guy who's gold, who plays all the old gold plays. You know, which right now I think they're dumping gold real heavily. I was excited about that too, but they started dumping gold. You see, I was following gold. Then it broke the trend, had to dump it. And then now it's coming back. So hopefully if it resumes there's the buy. You know, depending, of course, on where we are on the RSI at that level. All right, let me get out of here because I'm about to start another rant. Love you guys. Take care. Trade well. See you next time.